no more so than Philip Fulmer loves his Volunteers in the locker room after last week's emotional win against Alabama. Emotion is a powerful ally in this league. Today's question, which team takes advantage of the emotion? In my mind, we're going to Carolina. South Carolina, the pride and the Piedmont of the Palmetto State. We are in the state capital of Columbia for the Bell South SEC Game of the Week. The number 6 Volunteers of Tennessee taking on South Carolina. We are live from Williams-Brice Stadium. Hello, everyone. I'm Tim Brando, welcoming you to our continuing coverage of SEC football on Jefferson Pilot Sports. Well, for 17 seniors from South Carolina, you know how important it is to play your final home game, and that's exactly what they get to do today. But as for Tennessee, you might wonder about their emotion. After all, this was a team that was destined to win a national title in many respects, a team that had 9 games in the state of Tennessee, and yet Florida once again dashed that dream. But what are they playing for? Why are they so emotional, and why are they able to continue to win after such a disastrous loss at home to Florida? Because Notre Dame lost and is now out of the top 10. They're likely to be in the Alliance Bowl picture. If the Bowls were selected today, they would likely take on Miami in the Orange Bowl. And for Peyton Manning, motivation and focus are the keys to this young man's success. Technically and fundamentally, many believe he's the best to come down the pike in college football in some time, and that is a hard point to argue. But it's Brad Scott's team that plays the role of underdog today in this final home game in Columbia in his 3rd season. Our Dave Rowe is down with him.
Tim, I'm here as part of a new tradition here at South Carolina called the Cock Walk. Of course, with head coach Brad Scott, as the players make their way across the locker room. Coach, it's got to be exciting. The enthusiasm, playing at home, 80,000 people here playing Tennessee.
Well, it really is. You know, the Gamecock people are the best fans in the country, and they come out and support this team. We'll have a great atmosphere here today, and we're going to need them. We got a tough challenge ahead of us.
Well, you certainly do. Coach, a couple breaks here and there. You could be 7-1 going into this football game, but you're still to the bowl picture.
Well, we've got to pick up another win along the way. We've got 5 victories. We played really hard all season, got a tough finishing schedule, but these guys know we can get it done, so we're going to find it. Hopefully we'll get it today.
Tim, it's a new tradition. They're excited.
The Volunteers waiting to make their way out, and wearing black for the first time since '88. Sprock Zarathustra, 2001 Deodato in Philip Fulmer on the other side in his 5th year, the native of Winchester, 38-8 his record as head coach, and Brad Scott already with a bowl victory in his initial season at the Carquest Bowl, hoping to get to the postseason yet again. Florio will kick it off. Steve Florio, sophomore from Miami Springs. They will use 3 place kickers during the course of this afternoon, and that's Levine, Mark Levine, back deep, sophomore. 80,000 on hand in Columbia, and we're underway. South Carolina won the toss and deferred, and Tennessee will have to start from their 20. Let's go down to our partner on the sidelines, Bob Gessler.
Thanks, Tim. A couple of things to watch out today. South Carolina's defense. They're going to disguise some things. They say if you show Peyton Manning something, you better do something else. Also, they talk about an offense. Easy does it for South Carolina. They like to play no huddle, but they can't do it today. They're going to try and control the tempo offensively. And Tennessee concerned about their front line. Didn't play that well against Alabama. They hope to play better today against South Carolina.
Spencer Riley is starting at that left guard spot. They lost Byron Robinson with an ankle injury last week. Peyton Manning on 1st and 10. Quick out pattern. Caught by Eric Lane at that running back position. Tennessee, the offensive line, our Burger King starting lineup. Trey Teague is a veteran. And Chad Clifton is a raw talent at right tackle. Pressed into duty with the loss of Jarvis Rito earlier this year. Graham, of course, the catalyst, not having the kind of numbers he's had in the past, but there are reasons for that. And Peyton Manning, the quarterback, and you can look for Kent and Nash early and often today. It's 2nd down and 5. Movement appeared to be the tight end, Dustin Moore, moving prematurely.
And that's what will happen. A lot of nerves are jittery down there, especially on the South Carolina side. If you're Tennessee, you want to play. But, Tim, if you're Tennessee, you want to play under control.
Defensively, South Carolina looks this way. Henry Taylor has played well up front. This is the #1 defense in the Southeastern Conference coming in, and Terry Cousin is their best man-to-man cover guy. Shane Burnham has been the leader.
He's Mr. Inspiration. He's the team captain. He's the one that sets the tone.
2nd and 10. Levine and Lane are in the game now. That's Levine. Cracked down at the 33, but he has a first down. Ben Washington, the strong safety, junior from Lincoln High in Tallahassee, Florida, comes up to put on the hit.
Well, when they're thinking penetration, and that's what South Carolina is, they're taking gaps. You see the penetration, tackle goes inside Maddox, opens up a natural hole. Levine just comes popping through, and he's got lots of yardage. He makes a few people miss.
13 yards as Levine getting an early carry rather than Graham. 4 wideouts for Manning here. Levine again is tripped up beyond the 35 to the 36. Maynard Caldwell, the defensive end, one of the 17 seniors out of Rock Hill, South Carolina, makes the stop.
And interesting that Brad Scott's got a defense that's talking about penetration. They're taking Michael Maddox, the tackle. They're bringing him into the gap, shooting him down in that guard center gap, trying to get that penetration to get up in Manning's face. He's picked 2 good plays right back in his hole.
2nd down and 6. Quick out pattern is complete to Marcus Nash, number 12, stopped shy of the 40-yard line by Arturo Freeman. Jay Graham in this opening series now making his way out as Levine gets the carries. It's really been a strange thing. We talked to head coach Philip Fulmer about Graham's numbers not being what it has been in the past, and it's just been sort of the way the cards were shuffled early in the season.
Well, it really has. He only had 6 carries against UNLV, had 12 carries against Florida, and only 14 carries against Alabama.
Well, they got behind so early against Florida, they had to go to the pass. That was a bizarre first quarter. 3rd down and 3. That's the quick slant that they'll utilize so often with Joey Kent. And the senior from Huntsville, Alabama, makes the catch. And the arms of Ben Washington.
When this is just quick read, watch how quickly. He only takes 2 steps, cuts, there's the ball right there. Just trying to make that first down. Good read by Peyton Manning. Interesting that South Carolina is going to a man-to-man coverage. That's tough when you have Kent and Nash at the outside.
Those 4 wide receivers, that can give Wally Burnham, the defensive coordinator you see there on the left, a lot of headaches, because what they'd love to do is double those 2 wide receivers, but you can't do that when there are 4 wides in the game. Here's Graham. It's a yard, maybe 2. Pretty good pop as Washington came up and run support to help out.
And, Tim, if you're South Carolina, again, you're playing on emotion. You need good things to happen early to keep that emotion up. This is the kind of hits that you need. Good square-up play. When he cuts that back in the hole, you've got to have your linebacker there stuffing them, stopping them, making things happen, keeping that exuberance on defense.
2nd down and 8 with the ball at the 47-yard line. High formation now for Manning. Quick drop. Peyton with time, and it's complete. And that is the pattern. Marcus Nash. All the way down to the 20-yard line. Now, when they go with the 4 wides, almost always Nash and Kent are the inside receivers, both right and left.
Yeah, and they went with a 3-man rush. You see only 3 people rushing, 1 late to the outside. Nobody in Manning's face. He's just playing pitch and catch, looking across the middle.
34 yards on the connection to Marcus Nash, junior from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Edmond Memorial, where he played high school. He almost always runs those inside routes and usually gets big yards. You see, just under 14 for reception. Little flare, and it's dropped by Graham. That has been a nagging problem for Jay Graham. Not only drops, but fumbles in key situations in big games.
Well, of course, the one last year in Florida, and then again this one in Florida. And you hate to be remembered as that because Nash is, Graham is such a great player. But that time he just took his eyes off the ball. He had nothing but green out in front of him.
They like to call it the orange area rather than the red zone at Tennessee, but they have been pretty effective. Moore and Sartell at twin tight end look now for the Volunteers. Quick pitch into the boundary to Graham. Graham trying to turn it up. Gets it down to about the 13-yard line. They'll rule that he stepped out at the 13. Now, we touched on Jay Graham. Last season, look at the numbers. He had a string there of 100-yard games dating over 3 years. That has not been the case this season.
But you see, the yards per carry isn't a whole lot different. It's just the number of carries.
3rd down and 4 with the ball at the 13-yard line of South Carolina. Again the slant, again a touchdown. Joey Kent with a marker down. Flag is back at the 14-yard line at the South Carolina hash mark.
Well, you got to take something away from the wide receiver, and what they're doing is they're splitting them so far out and staying off him. That natural inside turn that's wide open.
Illegal possession on the offense. 6 players at the line of scrimmage. Received 3rd down.
That is a big one, and Philip Fulmer wants to know who. I mean, you could see that he was going to call the line judge over and say, who?
Exactly. But again, look at watch this touchdown. Nobody in his face, just drop back 3 or 4 steps, and look, you see that seam? He's wide open. You've got to take something away from him. You've got to take that inside seam if he splits you too wide. This can really change the complexion. 3rd down, you wait to listen to this crowd get in it.
3rd and 9 at the 18 of South Carolina. Initial series of the game. Clock winding down. Play clock at 3. Manning flush from the pocket and will be ushered out of bounds. Well, what an emotional lift this has to be for South Carolina. Caldwell with the pressure, number 89, taking him out.
And I keep on thinking, why didn't he run? Why didn't he run when he came out there? Watch the left of your screen. Pressure on the right side. He comes out of the pocket. Now watch right here. The coverage picks up out there. He's got nothing but there on the sideline. Run with the ball. He gets pushed out of bounds late, but he could have picked up a lot of yards.
Jeff Hall will come in to attempt a field goal. Now, Hall missed an extra point last week. But all in all, he has done well. A Winchester native, same hometown as head coach Philip Fulmer. A game winner against Georgia last year, you'll recall. This one appears to be off to the right. What an emotional lift for the final day for 17 seniors at South Carolina. Tennessee nullified a touchdown and scored. Nothing. 10:21 remaining here in the opening period. And Jeff Hall obviously upset that he couldn't get the 3. Manning on the phone to David Cutcliffe and Anthony Wright. Redshirt sophomore who's really coming of age as a quarterback here at South Carolina has his Gamecocks out at the 20. Deuce Staley not in, obviously, so Scott Moritz gets the carry and Bill Duff makes the stop. You look at the Burger King starting lineup. Nesbitt and Whitfield are the veterans on the left side of that offensive front. Wright, most notably without Deuce Staley. We'll see Boo Williams many times backing up Scott Moritz, and Robinson and Bridges are speedsters on the corners offensively.
Well, they need to go downfield. Wright needs to be confident. See his stats there, they're not bad, those 5 interceptions. But we did that Mississippi State game when they got a lot of pressure up the middle and they really bothered him. He needs to wipe that out, go downfield, play with confidence.
That's the key to South Carolina, as he has wiped it out. And the South Carolina offensive team really improved in the wake of that disappointing loss. Early, he sees something he doesn't like, and you know what it looked like? It looked like 2 linebackers right up the middle. Very similar to what Jolie Dunn did. John Chavis, the defensive coordinator, elects to do, and it forces a timeout.
Exactly.
Tyrone Hines and Nick Jester, the 2 linebackers, chatting with the assistant coaches for the Volunteers. We'll be back after this word from your local.
But when Anthony Wright walked up to the line, look what he looks at. Hines 47, Jester 45, right in his face, shades of Mississippi State.
And this is a Tennessee team that generally likes to rush with their down linemen. Play fake and a naked bootleg. Right, look at that elusiveness. He tucks it for a first down beyond the 30 to the 31-yard line. And Tyrone Hines does make the tackle.
But Anthony Wright will get a standing ovation from the crowd, because when he does the play fake, he really sells Tennessee on it right there. Now, comes back out, watch this little move to get to the outside. Now, the thing that really gets the crowd is he had a chance to go out of bounds. Does he go out of bounds? No. Puts that head down, gets that first down.
First and 10, 9:23 remaining here in the opening period. Volunteers went the distance, had a touchdown taken away for an illegal formation, and missed a field goal try. Quick out to Zola Davis. Zola Davis put it on the ground. He's popped, fumbles, and it's at the 43 belonging to Tennessee. Nick Jester with the recovery.
I was just going to say, we haven't seen much of Zola Davis this year, and he throws a hitch pattern to him. He's wide open, doesn't have that tremendous speed, but watch the tail end of this. When Jester hits him, he coughs it up. You've got to put the ball away. I know he's spinning for extra yards. You see the ball get ripped out of there?
Looked like Raymond Austin.
Yeah.
They got his hand in there and stripped him. Jester with the recovery. And look at the turnover margin. That's been a problem for the Gamecocks. Here's Manning. Going for the post pattern. He was waiting for the ball. Peerless Price, number 37, sophomore from Dayton, Ohio, makes the catch. He was wide open.
Oh, boy. If you don't get pressure on this quarterback, you're going in for beginning for a long day. That's exactly what happened for South Carolina. Here's Price. Just a go pattern. Break right there. Get even with him now. The defense is lost right there. And as you said, look at him slow up, waiting for the football. If he catches it in stride, he's off to the races. But there was no pressure on Peyton Manning.
Now at the 6-yard line, first and goal. Right up the middle, touchdown, Tennessee. Jay Graham. Seventh touchdown of the year for Graham on a 6-yard run as the Volunteers make the Gamecocks pay for a turnover.
Well, double team at the point, kick out, good block right there. They missed the tackle. Shane Burnham went a little bit too far into the hole, missed it. You're going to see 52 come by him. He misses them, opens up a big hole. And I can tell you, when you play with emotion, you've got to have good things happen. South Carolina now has lost that emotional advantage. They've got to recoup it.
Yeah, that looked too easy, didn't it? I mean, that was just like taking candy from a baby. You put it on the ground. South Carolina can't do that. And then the Volunteers waltz into the end zone with just 2 plays. 7-0 Volunteers. We'll be back after this message from CarQuest. Auto 0 Tennessee. 8:47 remaining in the first quarter. Along with Bob Kessling and Dave Rowe, Tim Brando, happy to be with you from Columbia, South Carolina. And the Volunteer band making some noise, as did their offense after the turnover by the Gamecocks. Cousin and Boo Williams are back deep. And the kickoff coming from Chris Hogue. Boo Williams. Kid's got a lot of talent, and you'll see him in the backfield today. Catapults to the 31-yard line. Stopped by Craig King. Let's go down to Bob Kessler.
Tim, of course, the biggest question this week, would Deuce Staley play in this game? Some people thought maybe it's only a twisted ankle, but it's a severely twisted ankle. Yesterday, he was in the training room all afternoon long getting rehab. He was there most of the afternoon. They're trying to strengthen the muscles in that ankle. They hope with the open date next week, maybe he might be ready for Florida. But, Tim, it's a severely sprained ankle. He can hardly put any weight on it.
Yeah, and you know, this is a team, Bob, that's looking for an open date. They haven't had one all year, and Tennessee's actually had 4 Saturdays off. They've had a Thursday night game, so they've played 2 fewer games than the Gamecocks. Moritz, when he finds a hole, he can go. Here's one for you, Deuce, courtesy Moritz. Jason Parker and Torrey Noel, the safeties, finally come up with the stop. Great blocking up front.
Yes, it was good blocking upfield. Whitfield nested, good block out there. Now he burst through the hole. You see the missed tackle. He explodes. That was Terry Fair, the right cornerback, who missed him. Look at this. Put the head down. Hello.
Junior out of Jacksonville, Florida. Not a slasher, but as you could tell with that run, he's very tough.
And did you see Phil Fulmer saying you got to wrap him up? That's the coach's sign for you. Got to wrap him up. You got to get those arms around him.
At the 40-yard line, first and 10 for South Carolina. Bridges and Robinson flank to the bottom of your screen. Wright's pass complete to Bridges. Hauled down quickly by Terry Fair.
Well, it doesn't look to me as if Anthony Wright was upset about that fumble because he's come right back out here, thrown a couple of darts. He's got a lot of confidence.
Finally, we're going to look at that Tennessee defense. They had the quick turnover. Leonard Little obviously is the leader. Jonathan Brown also has 5 sacks this year. Noel, Parker, Fair, and Austin, great tacklers in the secondary.
Oh, and there's Mr. Excitement. A lot of people are saying, what's he going to do in the pros? Reminds me a lot of Fred Dean, that type of down backer or lineman. He's got great speed. He runs around everybody.
2nd down and 4.
A lot of audibles on the line, Wright's calling.
Quick drop and a fade pattern. It's caught inside the 5 by Robinson. He's 6'4", 209 pounds, and if you put him in a jump ball position, he can make hay.
Well, he makes it on this one, and you can see the enthusiasm. As I watched that pass, I saw the sidelines were jumping. But look at this. Uses that body, that good height, good concentration. Look that football in. Get that foot down. And South Carolina now, look at the sideline. Look at the players coming over. They've got that enthusiasm that they recaptured.
1st and goal now at the 3, and we see a penalty flag down suddenly at the 12-yard line.
That's an interesting flag. There's nobody out there. It wasn't the clock. It wasn't anything. I don't know what this penalty is.
Illegal substitution on the offense. 1 minute, 3 seconds. Repeat, 1st down.
And Brad Scott wants to talk about it.
I think what Brad is saying is that they were making some changes. But that's a call that's designed to keep the offense from fooling the defense, being fair.
It's been a point of emphasis, too, this year. We've seen a lot of those calls. In fact, I'd say the 2 calls we've seen more of this year than in past seasons, the illegal formation that nullified a touchdown for Tennessee, and that one. Ron Gilbert is our referee, and that is a veteran crew working today's game. They're saying, how could it be an illegal substitution if the play clock had not started?
Well, that was the strangeness to me. I looked up and I saw the clock hadn't even started.
3 wideouts now for Wright, and the play clock is suddenly winding down. And you see the mass confusion that leads to a penalty flag. Rubiek, the right guard, might have moved prematurely.
Well, and they have to call a timeout in that situation. What happened then is when they called the penalty, they started the clock. The quarterback had no time. And you can see Anthony Wright's a little bit upset. I mean, you stop and think. They had 1st down on the 4-yard line.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, no 1st down.
But you know something, in truth, let's take a look at the penalty again. You see the confusion.
See, he looks at the clock. See, he looks at the clock. Now watch the right guard jumping out. That's the illegal play. But again, that clock was running down quickly.
I want to make a point, though, Dave. With this offense, I'm not certain that being at the 13-yard line is better for Brad Scott than at the 3 against Tennessee's defense.
Ooh, I don't know about that. I'd much rather be at the 3. I got 4 downs to run it in there. I understand Wright, and I know he's got great talent.
Well, he's got 3 wideouts. They don't have what you'd call a prohibitive fullback in there that can pound Tennessee. It's a draw, and it's wide open. Moritz. Touchdown, South Carolina.
Well, what did you say about not having that fullback? Because Moritz didn't hear you. He turned around and said, hey, I'm going to take this draw, and I'm going to run it down their throat.
Out of a 1-back.
Out of a 1-back. Watch this. Yeah, 1-back. With misdirection, he sets this. This is sprint draw now. He breaks to the outside. He sees the seam. Watch this at the tail end. First of all, he runs over top the corner. Bam! Then he just about kills Smokey as he comes over there.
He took out Terry Fair and Smokey. But there was more room. The field was spread.
Yeah.
Tougher for secondary people to come up.
Absolutely. Good play call.
Levitt will try the extra point. Highly talented. Had a difficult start to the season. But he ties the game, and the Gamecocks answer Tennessee's challenge.
Well, it's so important when you're trying to play on emotion. And that's what Brad Scott's team is trying to do, is to keep that emotion. Now your defense goes out there. They're pumped up. They're already out there on the field. They're ready to go, and you got the crowd in the game.
Many other big games today in the SEC as we take you around the league. The old cocktail party ain't what it used to be. The Gators are a prohibitive favorite against the Georgia Bulldogs for a number of reasons. Look at the series record, but it's been Florida that's been dominant of late. Other games today out of conference, Northeast Louisiana at Mississippi State, UAB at Vanderbilt, Arkansas playing Auburn. I think that's an interesting game for the Tigers as they take on the Razorbacks. Auburn is still very much in the race in the Southeastern Conference's Western Division. But Anthony Wright, he shrugged off some of the confusion, able to have some success. What does that mean to him early in this game?
It's huge. And I want to tell you, you made a great observation, Tim, in that it's not the same quarterback that we saw flushed out of the pocket under a lot of duress in that Mississippi State game. He learned from that. Called that timeout with that double blitz up the middle. Just got his composure, took his team down there. Good play selections. It's got to build his confidence.
Steve Florio to kick, and there again is Levine back deep for Tennessee. Volunteer special teams have been excellent this year, particularly in punt and kick return. Levine is cracked down shy of the 25-yard line. And Tennessee makes their way back out. Well, they only had a two-play 43-yard drive that took 30 seconds in their last attempt offensively. Now they start in their own side of the field. Let's go down the bottom.
Smokey's all right. Now, was there any truth in the matter that he tried to bite Scott Moritz?
He did not try to bite him. He just got scared.
Well, okay, Smokey's all right, though, didn't hit him.
They may have to rename him Butkus.
Well, he had a good base. I saw that. He slid over to the right, avoided the hit.
First down and 10. Quick pitch to Levine. 7 yards for him. Benji Young made the stop. Redshirt freshman from Rock Hill, South Carolina. He's another one of those guys being indoctrinated early, learning and beginning to make more plays.
Well, when you're able to run the football, and you look at this, when you get outside, 2 blockers, two tacklers, now you've got that sprint up the middle. South Carolina is going to have to pick up that pitch. Now, when you start spreading wide to pick up the pitch, they burst up the middle.
Offset eye. Not much room for Levine. South Carolina snuffed out that play, and it's Shane Burnham, the defensive coordinator's son, who's been through the tumultuous times, only to become a true leader for this defensive team that is leading the SEC.
Boy, good penetration there. Miller gets inside. Maddox, 93, gets inside. They slide. Burnham out there. Get those hands on him. When he gets his hands on him, he rarely lets them go.
You have to feel proud for Wally Burnham. What defensive coordinator and dad wouldn't want to say when asked, yeah, it's my boy that's become a real leader. You could see the pride in his eyes.
Oh, absolutely.
3rd and 2. That is Joey Penn in motion. The defense is there. 93, Michael Maddox.
Tim, they have picked on Maddox. They picked on him in the first part of this game, and now the big man is responding. He comes off his tackle well right there. It's designed to go right to the outside. Now you see they have to cut back underneath. Levine has to cut back underneath. Maddox makes that big tackle.
Came right through Brent Gibson, the center. And he's one of the veterans on that Tennessee offensive line. He's a senior. Bridges is back deep, and Larry Binion's punt. High into the air, and it's a 41-yard line is where Bridges takes it in. Punting into the wind, a short punt by Binion. Don't forget, next week, our Bell South SEC Game of the Week, the Florida Gators. The #1 Gators taking on the Vanderbilt Commodores. Clearly a David versus Goliath matchup. Our Bell South SEC Game of the Week. Now you get a feeling now that any success for South Carolina with good field position here could be a tone setter for the remainder of the half.
Well, again, when you're playing on emotion, and everybody knows it, when you play on emotion, you got to have good things go on, and that's exactly what South Carolina had to have happen.
Lou Williams into the game, and right away he touches it. Gets it up to the 45-yard line. You hear the boos. That's not booing. That's just boos for boo.
What an appropriate time of the year for Lou Williams. But he's a slashing type runner, whereas Moritz is more that bull type runner, straight ahead.
This is a kid that's got tremendous potential. He and Patrick Pass were the 2 top running backs in the state of Georgia last year. 4 wide receivers for South Carolina. Williams again. Gets about 3 in the arms of Billy Ratliff, number 40. Freshman from Magnolia, Mississippi, played at South Pike High School. There's John Eason, who came over from Florida State and Bobby Bowden's staff to join Brad Scott. And he speaks so confidently about Anthony Wright and his vision, his wanting to work and get better and trying to become a leader. 3rd down and 3.
Needs that composure on this play. Audible on the line. You see him changing it.
Good drop, and now he tucks it. And that is exactly what John Eason wanted him to do. In other words, you're talented enough, don't worry about looking like a great prototypical quarterback. If you're talented enough to tuck it and run, take it.
Yeah, this is an out pattern. 1-2 steps drop. Now look, it's covered. It's not there. Sprint. Get that first down. Now he's got to learn to get down. Don't take the hit. Get down. Make that first yardage. It's an easy play for somebody with Anthony Wright's talent.
8 yards on the carry for Wright, and the ball now at the Volunteer 44. First down, 4 wides again for South Carolina. Play fake. And again the sprint out. Zola Davis. First down, South Carolina. Al Wilson tripped him up, number 27.
And I know for Zola Davis, that's a deep sigh of relief because he had disappointed his team. He put the ball on the ground, and players will always try to make up. And that's what Zola Davis did on that play. Rolled out on that naked boot, saw him open, bang. He hit him right to him, and Zola Davis picks up the first down. South Carolina's got something going. Look at those stats, Tim. 4 of 4.
Jason Pomar is coming to the game, number 10 up at the top of your screen. He and Robinson flank to the left for South Carolina. There's Boo to the 25-yard line. Corey Gaines, number 30, the junior from Baton Rouge Catholic High School, comes up to make the stop.
Well, this is good play selection. Keep them off guard. A little misdirection here. It's a little draw. Come back up in the middle. Find that seam first through it. Now, let me tell you something. Tennessee is caught off guard right now. Tennessee is an outstanding team. Top to bottom, they are a top-flight team. They're caught off guard a little bit. This South Carolina team has still got the emotion.
Those 2 runs by Moritz in that drive to answer the quick touchdown from Tennessee. I think the Volunteers felt that they had the heads hanging on the other sidelines. That's not the case.
Exactly right. They gave them back the emotion.
Williams to about the 22-yard line. Ron Green, 55, sophomore from Severna Park, Maryland, made the tackle for the Volunteers.
Good block right there. Go through the hole. That was a good block there by Wheeler, 75. Turn them out. That's what you want to do with those defensive linemen. Sometimes you don't have to muscle them over. You just have to turn them out. Big down here right now. Keep that drive alive. They've got to pick up to the 20-yard line.
That'll be 3rd and a long one. Bridges is now in a slot. Look out for him. He's got a lot of quickness in there. And Nixon is the up back out of the eye. They run an option package, and Wright gets it to the 20. Jason Parker comes up. Again, another quality decision by Wright in a play that Tennessee had really appeared to have under control.
Well, when your quarterback knows the down and distance situation, and that's what the feel that you get from Anthony Wright is that he knew how far he had to go. They just had to make the 20-yard line. Don't take the danger of the pitch when he could make it. He saw the line, knew he could dive for it, just dove for that first down, keep the drive alive. That is a much, much different quarterback than the rattled young man that we saw at Mississippi State.
Wright is still not missed in the air, and he's also 3 carries for 21 yards. So he's been a do-everything quarterback early in the first quarter. The draw again. And Boo Williams gets it down to the 16-yard line. Raymond Austin, 28. Boy, Austin, you'll recall, had the big play last week against Alabama. Helped spearhead that win.
You see there, that's Little coming from the outside. He actually overruns the play. He gets in so quickly. Watch this. He doesn't even see the play. They're running back towards him, and a lot of times that'll give an over-pursuing lineman a lot of trouble, is when you run right at him or run that misdirection. South Carolina using a lot of that misdirection, trying to get Tennessee to overrun the football.
2nd and 6. 35 seconds left in the opening period. Here comes the blitz. Bill Williams runs right into it. Corey Gaines, the free safety, was coming. Also, some linebacker help was coming on the blitz prior to the snap. This has been, though, the drive of Bill Williams. He's carried it 6 times in this drive. And, of course, Moritz, the key factor on the ground in that last drive. It's been he and Anthony Wright in this sequence.
It certainly has been. Corey Gaines really came up that time and really took the legs out from underneath him. Going to bring up a 3rd down. Now, what you want to do in this situation is don't miss up. Don't lose out on the opportunity to put points on the board.
Well, Terry Fair was beaten by Marcus Robinson, also apparently injured his ankle. That's why Gaines is in the game. We've played one, and the Gamecocks right now with the big key for emotion on their side. On the Bell South SEC game of the week. To Terry Fair on the sidelines of Tennessee. Gaines has been pressed into duty. They've been picking on him just a bit, but Fair was beaten by Robinson in that last touchdown drive. This is the 10th play of this drive for the Gamecocks, and it's 3rd and 8. Fair had 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions last week against Alabama last Saturday in Knoxville. Right. And he's sacked. Leonard Little finally gets there. Only a matter of time before number 1 becomes a factor in the game. And you'll recall last year, Leonard Little made a huge play on the opening drive. South Carolina, the initial series, watching split right here. Comes right through, makes the block. Tyrone Hines then goes the distance. Steve Tannehill had taken his team all the way for seemingly a touchdown. Little got a hand on a field goal try last week by the Crimson Tide. This will be a 40-yard try, and that means Reed Morton. And this is as far back as you'll go with Reed Morton. And he comes up empty, wide to the right. Morton had only missed twice inside the 40-yard line. He would go with Levitt from beyond 40 yards. So nothing for South Carolina, and that is an emotional edge lost.
That certainly is. As you watch the ebb and flow of the emotion of South Carolina, if they'd come away with points, their defense comes back out there pumped up. They lose a little bit. Now they need to have something defensively happen well for them.
The sack by Little forced them to take a 40-yarder. That was a big play. First quarter stats. Look at the total yards. South Carolina outdistancing the number 6 Volunteers by 20 yards. Quick hitch out to Marcus Nash. Nash stopped at the 30-yard line. Terry Cousin, number 5, the senior from Miami, there to lead the charges. Bob Kessling.
Tim, one thing Tennessee's doing, trying to find some kind of combination in their offensive line. They made a couple of substitutions already. They've lost 2 of their starters at the beginning of the season. Jarvis Rito broke his ankle in the Florida game, and now Dyron Robinson is also out. That's the one thing. They're playing 2 freshmen on the offensive line. They're just trying to find some consistency and some of that brute force.
2nd and 2, they operate out of the eye. Jay Graham runs into a bevy of black jerseys. John Abraham, freshman from Timmonsville, South Carolina, first to get there. This is a kid that has tremendous potential. Only played 1 year of high school football.
Well, you see the penetration against South Carolina. That's their game plan. They know they can't stay back. They've got to get penetration, try to disrupt those 2 guards pulling, try to get in that backfield, cause Jay Graham to change that direction. And there's the man who's been doing a good job. Since he got beat a couple times early, Michael Maddox, 93, has really responded with that penetration.
3rd down and 2. Kent, who was in motion, gets the hitch. And he has the first down at the 35-yard line. Benji Young comes up to make the stop.
Well, that's confidence in your quarterback. 3rd down and 2. You throw a quick out hitch pattern. Let him get those big linemen out in front. Now watch this. Drops back, just throws it out there. And look at the big linemen coming out there. You see Teague, Spencer Riley coming out there. They're trying to get those blocks, 75. That's Hamilton. He's coming out there. They're doing a good job.
Hamilton in the game for Riley now at that left guard spot. 12.5 remaining in the 2nd quarter in a 7-7 game. Manning. Dropped again. Eric Lane this time. You know, Peyton Manning has had an inordinate number of drops this year. Nash has been guilty of a few. Joey Kent. There was a big drop last week early in the game against Alabama that could have gotten the Volunteers off to a better offensive start.
Well, he throws it. Now watch Manning's reaction. Quarterbacks, they rise and fall too. Now watch this. He sees it and just goes, oh, no. When a quarterback puts his hands on his hips and you see that little head shake, he's not saying, oh, heck.
2nd and 10. Manning. There's that slant. The defender fell down, and Joey Kent into South Carolina territory at the 48. Benji Young fell down as he was isolated on Kent. That is still very much the bread and butter play of offensive coordinator David Cutler.
Well, I love the vision of Peyton Manning downfield. Look down, look far. You see his head kind of swivel around. Now just dump it off. He sees the person who fell down. You see Benji Young in the background falling down. Finds just the perfect receiver. And you don't do that unless you're looking, just scanning the field.
Brian Darden has come into the game at 1 wide out along with Andy McCullough. 4 wide receivers now for Manning. Good play fake. Boy, did he sell that. And it is caught for a touchdown. McCullough. Yards.
And you know exactly when he's going to throw the football. Watch this. Scan, scan, and all of a sudden he sees the break. Now throws. Now watch right here. Starts to scramble, sees it, flips that ball. The trajectory of that ball was wide up in the air, way up high in the air. Only person who was going to catch it was the receiver, McCullough.
Garrett Sullivan was there with him, number 13. But he couldn't stay with McCullough. What a great play fake. You hear so often about the intricacies of playing the position. That's what Manning has that no other at the collegiate level right now currently has. 14-7. 14-7, the Volunteers with a lead over South Carolina. There's McCullough. Scoring drive, 78 yards, 225. As Peyton Manning finds Andy McCullough, one of the 6 or 7 wide receivers that are an option. Junior out of Dayton, Ohio, coming up with that touchdown catch. And the wind apparently blew the football off the tee as Chris Hogue, the junior from Memphis, Tennessee, and Briarcrest was approaching the football.
I always think that's the funniest play in football. You're back there trying to receive it, and everybody runs up there, and all of a sudden they start blowing whistles, and everybody's got to stop.
Terry Cousin and Boo Williams back deep for South Carolina. It appears as if we're headed for a shootout.
Oh, yeah. I can see South Carolina keeps the enthusiasm, especially on offense. They can score when they get that opportunity. That missed 3 points is huge.
Kick is coming down to Terry Cousin at the goal line. Markers down. They're going to bring this one back. And now it's put on the ground by Cousin. It's recovered at midfield by South Carolina. But the flags are back at about the 10-yard line. It'll be a block behind the back. Boo Williams came up with that recovery.
I think everybody got a chance to throw the flag.
That'll set South Carolina deep in their own territory.
Now watch the hand in the back. That's the call. The hand in the back. See that? The hand right there? 81. That's Fleming.
Well, you wonder. We see so many of these penalties now, the block in the back, and I think it has a lot to do with the speed of today's player that we see on special teams.
Block in the back. On the return team. Pass it in for the front of the ball. First down.
We understand we're having some small, minor signal problems. We're going to iron them out, so you stay with us. Don't adjust your set. You needn't turn up the volume. We'll keep bringing it to you as best we possibly can. Right, perfect today. 4-4 for 62 yards.
Boy, he needs to be perfect in this situation. Backed up on his 8-yard line. He needs to not force the football and make a mistake.
From the end zone, out to Bridges, and look out, he could break it. How about the speed of Tyrone Hines? You're talking about a sprinter, an all-America caliber 100-meter man who's ready to go down the sideline, and Tyrone Hines, the middle linebacker, just runs him down.
And boy, I'll tell you this, good block there. You see Moritz come up there, number 40, knock him down now. Bridges gets that ball, turns upfield. You're right. He's one play away. Got a good block downfield there by Robinson, 88. He would have gone all the way.
Well, that speaks highly, though, of the speed of the linebackers that Tennessee has.
Well, especially Hines in the middle. So he's a speed merchant.
34-yard line, 1st and 10. Wright was beginning to stumble as he took the snap from center Paul Beckwith and handed to Scott Moritz. Buxton made the stop for Tennessee.
Well, a lot of times what will happen if the quarterback doesn't get out of there in a hurry, the center will drop back and step on his foot. Happens all the time. You see a quarterback stumble out of there.
Five of 5 now for 88 yards for Anthony Wright. And John Eason could not have asked for a better script for his quarterback today. John Reeves, of course, is the liaison up in the booth that Anthony Wright chats with, former great quarterback at Florida, and, of course, in the NFL. Play fake. Wright rolling to the right to Davis. Hammered out of bounds by Hines, and a late flag. They'll tack a few more onto this. Al Wilson came over a bit late. He hit him out of bounds. Number 27, the sophomore from Jackson, Tennessee.
Well, one thing you want if you're a quarterback and you're South Carolina's quarterback is you want those receivers catching that difficult catch. This is a difficult catch. Now that was one there. I thought that signal was a block in the back. Wait a minute, that's not out of bounds then. Let's see if they change that signal.
Well, this is a break for Tennessee.
Legal block in the back. On the offense. 10-yard penalty. End of the run. Still 2nd down.
What a break for Tennessee. You know, we've seen that a few times. Sometimes a block out of bounds that forces a late hit.
Well, watch this tough catch, too. Throw it here. Look at up away from the body. Now, let's see if we see somebody come into the picture here and get the block in the back. You don't see it there. That's not in that picture. I didn't see a block in the back there.
Either. It was obviously away from where the play took place. 2nd down and 10 from the 34. Problems on the exchange with Moritz again. So a busted play and a loss of a yard. Ron Green made the stop. I'll tell you this: what we did see on that replay was that Wiggins made a good hit.
Yeah.
I mean, it was not out of bounds.
Yeah, it was not out of bounds. That was right on the sideline. Big down right here for Anthony Wright. He's got to come up with about a 10-yard, 12-yard play. He's got to tell his wide receivers, make sure you get the 1st down yardage. He's 2 of 2 today. He's completed every pass. Pressure on that young man.
2 of 2 in 3rd down conversions. Moritz is the setback as they go out of the shotgun. They clock at 2. Wright to Davis. Slips and falls at the 48-yard line. That's a 1st down. Jason Parker made the tackle. This is a 2nd opportunity for Parker. He and Gaines, that was actually Gaines that was over there, but Jason Parker, number 7, you see, playing the free spot.
Boy, run to the weak side, throw a strike, and he throws a strike. I want to tell you something. I've not seen Anthony Wright better than he is right now. When we watched him Mississippi State game, he was rattled. He got that pressure in his face. He forced the football. He made mistakes. This is the evolution of a quarterback that's got much more confidence.
Moritz hammered by Leonard. Hello, meet number 1. The fans are responding, but the whistles came a little late. Forward progress had been stopped, and when Little didn't hear it, he continued to make a play.
I thought it was interesting what Leonard Little said to you yesterday. I didn't play well. Didn't feel I played well last week. Was up a little bit. Didn't have my legs underneath me. He's got his legs under him today.
He was upset with the way he played against Georgia. Came back and did a marvelous job. Made some big plays, particularly on special teams against Alabama. He was really chastising himself.
Yes, he was.
2nd down and 11.
I think I saw Travis Whitfield, 78. He's going to get his name mentioned. Might have been Wheeler. It's a 78 or a 75.
Before the snap, full start. Interior lineman on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Watch left side. 2nd man up from your bottom. Whoop, right there. That's it.
Yep, that's Wheeler. See the penalties now. They're beginning to crop up for South Carolina. 5 for 33 yards. 2 for 10, but the one against Tennessee. 1 for Tennessee cost them a touchdown. Second and 16. Wright tries that draw again. Volunteers would not be fooled this time. Excellent work by Tennessee. Billy Ratliff, number 40. And along with Leonard Little.
Yeah, this is Ratliff 40 getting great penetration. Look at this. Left side of your screen. He's in the backfield. Just doesn't let go.
Again, a reminder, both Boo Williams and Moritz have played well early today, but look at what Deuce Staley meant to this team, leading rusher in the SEC prior to the injury.
Yeah, and he was the leading receiver on this team. 17 yards short of 1,000 yards. He hopes to come back. They've got that off week that you talked about, Tim.
3rd down and 20 for South Carolina. Out pattern to Moritz. Well, this was an offensive series that the Gamecocks would just as soon like to forget. I mean, they had botched plays, problems with the exchange between Moritz and Wright. And John Chavis on the far right of your screen, defensive coordinator, now beginning to get more respect after the job that he's done with this team, particularly in the second half against Alabama. He's from Dillon, South Carolina, not that far from Darlington. Jermaine Copeland is back deep for South Carolina. And Levitt's punt against the wind. A poor one. That is a brisk northwest wind that he's punting against here in the second quarter. And Tennessee will have quality field position beyond the 30-yard line when we come back. 14th. Tennessee begins at their own 32. Peyton Manning by distance. Very, very fruitful when he goes inside of 10 yards. Those slant patterns most effective in a high percentage offense run by David Cutcliffe. And there's that little curl inside the 10-yard area. You talk about student of the game, and obviously you know all too well of the lineage. Peyton Manning is a coach on the field and right here as well.
Working all parts of it. It's a good first step because he's flat.
A good first step. You heard the comments of David Cutcliffe analyzing Manning on the sprint outs. Jay Graham gets it to the 40, maybe the 41-yard line. And that'll be a first down for Tennessee.
I think when you look at Peyton Manning, I think you have to first of all say, you know, he had that as a freshman. He had tremendous skills in analyzing the defense, looking downfield, knowing what to expect, knowing the coverages. Of course, that comes from growing up in a football family with his dad.
But the respect of the game and those that have come before him, beyond just Archie, is something that he brings to the table that a lot of guys his age don't quite understand.
Absolutely.
It's a reverse. Peerless Price. It's open down the sideline. Peerless Price, touchdown, Tennessee. Price and McCullough, the two recipients of touchdowns today for Tennessee, both out of Meadowdale in Dayton, Ohio.
Yes, and you have to keep backside containment. Wiggins, the backside corner, he just fell for the fake. He started so hard strong side. He's the outside corner, right corner. He never made it back up, never came back up inside. Good block downfield that time by Tig, number 70, to get downfield and get that block.
5:43 remaining in the first half. Oh, Peerless can be peerless. 7. And Rocky Top beginning to play a bit too often for the South Carolinians here today. Peerless Price, his first touchdown rushing. And Peyton always trying to learn, even after successful drives. And the kick by Hogue will come down to Terry Cousin at the 6. Cousin has a seam. And a nice job by Tennessee, again closing it. It's Mickey Allen, number 29, that came over to usher him out of bounds. Well, it's a very big series now for Wright. They had a not so bold-looking effort in their last offensive sequence.
But their offense has not been a problem. They've moved the football. That last time they got the football on, what, about the 7-8 yard line, moved it out to midfield, had the mix-ups in that. But you've got to have emotion on two sides. In other words, the defense has got to come up and respond. They've got to make some big plays. Anthony Wright has played well in this first half. The offensive line has given them time as receivers have caught the football. Their defense needs to stand up a little bit.
Boo Williams, well, he finds the crease as well. A wide-eyed runner, according to Brad Scott. Craig King, 44, made the tackle, senior from Asheville, North Carolina.
And one of the things that Bob Kessling talked about was easy does it. South Carolina needs to eat the clock up. You can't just trade punches. This is a team much like Florida. They have such high-powered, potent offense. You've got to keep the ball away from them. Drive it downfield. Use the clock.
4 wide receivers set again for South Carolina. Wright still with plenty of time on the play clock. Now he tucks it. This has been one of their better plays. Just keep on tucking it and running it. As Wright, successful yet again. Got a pretty good block that time from one of his wide receivers, Ben Fleming.
Yeah, watch number 81 in this play. This is right here. It's not open. Now, bring the ball down, get to the outside, use that athletic talent. Watch 81 come right there. Good block there. That's against Craig King, number 44. That was a good block by a wideout.
Bridges and Davis are the wide receivers to the top of your screen. Robinson hasn't been heard from since that big play over Terry Fair earlier. Boo Williams, the lone setback. Quick hitter to Williams. Not much as Billy Ratliff made this up. Let me tell you a story about Billy Ratliff, number 40, the freshman from Magnolia, Mississippi. Down 13-0 last week against Alabama. Philip Fulmer told us that Ratliff comes into the locker room and says, boy, is this fun. Let's go out there and have a great second half. Now, they're down 13-0 to Alabama in Knoxville. For that young man to come in and say, that's an encouraging sign for a coaching staff when they're preparing to have conversations with their team when they're favored and losing at home to a traditional rival.
Well, it's a long walk sometimes from that field to that locker room, and you're trying to think of what to say to the team, and all of a sudden you hear somebody say that, oh, we got a good game going here, and that's pretty exciting.
Second down at 11.
Plus, he's just a freshman.
Wright is sacked. And flags are down. Little got to him.
Boy, Little did a great move. He did what they call a spin inside move. It's when you run into your tackle and what you do is spin inside. There's the holding call that's going to go against South Carolina. But Little does a spin move. He's on the left of your screen. Watch him hit here. Spin inside. Boom, he's clear. Right now he's running down the quarterback's throat. And that's an NFL move. And 2 sacks already. Coming into the game, he had 6. He's got 2 more.
Holding on the offense. Penalty decline. Third down.
Yeah, but the penalties, oh, they keep cropping up.
Well, they sure do. That's interesting. They're going to take the third down because it would have taken him a little bit farther back. I wonder if Wright twisted that leg underneath him that time. Yeah, he did. Look at him. See him limping a little bit coming up there? A little gimpy.
Chad Barnhart, the backup, has been getting a lot of playing time in recent weeks. Third down and 17. Wright throws it over the line. A volunteer may have gotten a hand on that. Deflected by Al Wilson. So yet another unfulfilled opportunity for South Carolina.
But if Wilson doesn't tip that, that's a well-thrown ball. That was a little curl at about 15, 18 yards. That was going to be complete. Wilson dropping back in that zone, reading the eyes of the quarterback, got a hand up and touched the football.
Well, you touched on the defense needing to come up. Well, here's another opportunity for them with 3:50 left. Tennessee can hit you in a hurry. Come after this punt by Levitt. Fair catch is called for by Jermaine Copeland at the 25-yard line. Bob Kessling.
Yeah, Brad Scott was talking about the fact his son, Jeff Scott, had one mission for him today. Get with Peyton Manning. You see, they were at a FCA camp this summer, and Jeff and Peyton became good friends. Jeff is an outstanding young quarterback, a sophomore in high school. And, of course, Peyton Manning is one of those guys you look up to if you want to one day be a college quarterback. So Brad Scott's got to get Peyton's autograph before he leaves town.
How tough is that? Game's over, and you're looking up the opposing quarterback.
You've seen enough of Peyton Manning today.
Play fake, again a good one. Manning's pass is complete. Right at the sideline to Joey Kent. Lee Wiggins over there with him, number 27.
When I watched Manning that time, he just kind of sidesteps trouble. Trouble's coming from his right side. He just sidesteps it, looks downfield, finds his receiver. Speed kills. Look at this. Man-to-man coverage all the way. See, that ball was just well delivered. If you're going to take man-to-man coverage, what you're trying to do is get more pressure on the quarterback. You've got to have cornerbacks today to play this game of football. Because of that press defense, you've got to have two great corners.
Darden now in the game for Tennessee, number 8. Delay handoff. Going to Darden.
A lot of time left. 3.5 minutes. That's a lot of time for Peyton Manning and company to get downfield, get in play position, get to the first score.
Both quarterbacks have done an excellent job today. Anthony Wright not getting as much support from his run game recently. It's been a problem for them. 4 wide receivers set on 2nd and 8 for Tennessee. Manning, crossing pattern again. Flag comes down as Kent goes down at the 40. Arturo Freeman, number 12, sophomore from Orangeburg, South Carolina, made the tackle.
Number 7. On the defense.
You know, Ron, I hope that that's a sign of things to come. Bring it in. We want it as badly as you do.
But wait a minute. Now, who was 79 in the secondary? That's what I want to hear.
Well, if he's back there, that's a flag.
That's right. That's a illegal procedure. Don't see many 79s playing in your secondary.
First down and 10 out of the shotgun now, Manning. Quick hitch. Back to Kent. Hambrick was right there. Darren Hambrick, a quality hitter, Lacucci, Florida. A real playmaker for Wally Burnham's team. And you talk about Manning. We mentioned, obviously, Archie Manning and how important he has been. That's the question the Volunteer fans' minds. Will Peyton Manning leave school early to play in the NFL? Well, here's what his dad had to say when we asked him about it.
You know, there's always rumors starting. Actually, and I just told Peyton this last summer, I said, Peyton, I'm not going to go out and do this big, start interviewing everyone. But I said, if something happens, you do decide to come out, you know, I want to be kind of prepared. And if you don't, then that'll just be a jump start on the following year.
Well, you can bet that Archie Manning has done all that is necessary to prepare. But I really think that the focus of Manning to stay with the game and not get caught up in all of that has a lot to do with why he's as successful as he is.
Well, I've got my thoughts. I think he's staying.
Absolutely.
I really do.
There are a number of reasons why. There's Archie and Peyton. You compare the numbers in college. Two completely different types of quarterbacks.
Exactly. You see, Archie was a running quarterback. He ran out of fear many, many times. Peyton's a passing quarterback. But back to your point, Tim, I think there's a lot of good reasons why he stays in college football. I think he enjoys it. We talked a lot about it. And, you know, you got your feelings, too.
Well, let's start with number one. Number one, a player leaves early. Why? Because he needs to take care of his family. That's the excuse they generally give. He doesn't have that problem. Right. 2, they consider maybe my grades won't be as good. That's certainly not a problem. He gets his degree in May. You'll be in graduate school at these days. And there are several other reasons why that we'll get into.
We've got a top 10, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, buddy.
2nd and 13. Manning hits the deck. Abraham, that's the freshman, number 95, gets to him.
Well, that was a big play for this defensive unit of South Carolina. They have got to get pressure on Manning. You couldn't let him come downfield and score. But there's a flag in the secondary about 20 yards downfield. I don't know what that flag is. If that's a flag that negates this sack, I mean, we're talking about a 15-yard sack.
Oh boy. Well, that's a game ender if South Carolina gives up a touchdown.
On the defense, 10-yard penalty, previous spot, still second down.
See, emotionally, that just takes your defense right out of it. They just finally made a play.
Yeah, it's a 25-yard penalty. They got a 15-yard sack, and downfield, there's a play, and it marks off 10 more yards. It's a 25-yard penalty.
And emotionally, it just drains your team.
Well, look what it does. It gives them second down and 4, Tim.
A blitz. Manning gets away from it. Incomplete. Cousin was over there to provide the coverage against Price. Plenty of pressure coming from Benji Young.
Boy, and you got to be careful if you're Terry Cousin, because Cousin was pretty upset about this play. It's a quick out play. He's going to come back outside. They say Cousin is their best play. You can see jam now. Now he falls down. Now the tail end of that's not bad, but when Cousin got up, he went back and yelled at him. Yeah, look at him. You can't do that.
It'd be a taunting rule.
Oh boy.
They could have gone against him, but you know they're playing angry.
Yes, they are.
Because of that penalty.
Well, they should, and maybe that's the spark that they need to get that enthusiasm back right here.
3rd and 3 for Manning. Blitz again. They got to him. Now, will they rule it a pass or will it be a fumble? I think they're going to rule it a fumble.
Well, I thought I saw Manning's arm go forward. The ball came out. One thing you have to do is stop the clock.
Yeah, the clock continued to wind another 10 seconds after he went down.
Now, if you're Philip Fulmer, this is not the way you want to end the half. If you're Brad Scott, you're saying, this is what we need.
There's a marker down.
Another marker?
Yes, indeed.
Well, watch the play here. Watch the tail end. See if, in fact, he doesn't pull his arm forward. No, that's not a pass. No way is that a pass.
It is a penalty against South Carolina again.
Don't tell me it's unsportsmanlike.
Tip ball. Non-contact ball on the defense. 15-yard penalty. It is a first down.
Now they've lost composure. Now the team has lost composure because they were playing with anger.
Well, they're playing with anger. Now watch the tail end of this play. You tell me this is a pass. Now watch right here. No, his arm never goes forward with the ball. So they recover the ball. Now, they come back up here, and they get up, and they're angry, and they say something, and then they've got an unsportsmanlike penalty.
See, and that's a composure question. Markers down again. Manning's pass is caught, but the whistle apparently had blown the play dead.
This is like Memorial Day. I've seen enough flags on this one drive. Golly.
And a sarcastic round of applause as the marker is now against the preliminary indication against Tennessee. Ron Gilbert's been a busy guy in the last couple of minutes.
Ball before the snap. Ball start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So you go back to that penalty when they had that fumble. If you get up on a dead ball situation, there's a lot of emotion out there. You've just gotten a turnover. They take it back, and a lot of times you'll say things that you don't mean. That's a tough penalty.
On 1st and 15, that pass batted down. That's a great defensive play by Maddox.
Well, Maddox was out there all by himself, split the blocker, got a hand in there, and knocked the ball down. Maddox has really responded. Watch to the left of your screen. He reads the screen right here, sees it, see him get the hand in there, knocks the ball away. I'll tell you one thing, this defense, they must have heard something because they're responding now. They're playing tough now.
They lost their composure verbally, but we have not seen composure lost physically in this sequence. 2nd down and 15.
A lot more blitz pressure.
Manning airing it out. Incomplete, intended for Price. He had his man beat.
But what would it be without a flag? Got to have a flag, don't we?
This one again against Tennessee.
I thought we were going to go and play without a flag there. Now, wait a minute. We've had enough of them on this series.
On the offense. 10-yard penalty. Spotted the ball. Still second.
Times like this, I think about our colleague and true voice in my mind still of college football, Keith Jackson. Where's that little yellow hanky?
Well, see,
I see another one right down there.
Well, see, I'll tell you what happens to me. I identify a lot with the defense. I kind of get foamed up and start ripping and raring. And
2nd and 30 now. Ball is at the 46-yard line. Pass is incomplete because he's out of bounds. Kent able to come up with it. I think this may be the first play in at least 6 plays from scrimmage where we don't see a flag.
Well, I'll tell you this, too. If I had a 3rd down and 30-yard line, 3rd down and 30 situation to go, I don't know many quarterbacks that I would rather have out there than a Peyton Manning throwing, of course, to a Joey Kent, Marcus Nash, throwing to Graham out of the backfield. They are an outstanding football team. If any quarterback can throw it, Peyton Manning can pick it up.
Price, Kent, Schuler, and McCullough, the 4 wide receivers. That's complete at the 30, but a big hit by Ben Washington on Joey Kent. Short of the necessary yardage, and a flag comes down.
Oh, my goodness. Well, it was a good stick on the quarterback. I hope it's not called a late hit, because it was a good stick. It came from the backside, a lot of pressure. Going to be holding. So now that negates about a 30, 20-yard pass. That's going to make it 3rd down, and you count up how many yards. This is about 3rd down and a 1/4 mile.
It'll be 3rd down and 45.
On the offense, 10-yard penalty, bottom of the ball, still 3rd down.
It'll be 3rd and 40.
Watch the backside this. You see the pressure right there when Manning gets hit and dumped. That's Henry Taylor, number 90. Now watch Joey Kent here when he catches this football in the seam. Here comes the safety. Bam! Oh, that's a big hit. Good for Joey Kent to hold on to the football. It's Ben Washington, number 6, who comes in there.
3rd down, 46. I beg your pardon. I was more accurate the first time. Manning is flushed. That pass about a yard shy of Marcus Nash, but he made a nice adjustment to come back to the ball to try to help his quarterback, who was flushed from the pocket.
Well, South Carolina had to have their defense respond. We saw the tricks back and forth, and listen to the crowd start to get in and thank this defense. This is a long way.
Binion will punt it away. Senior from Mesa, Arizona. His first punt was 27 yards. That was against the wind. Now he has it on his side. And you see Corey Bridges back deep at his 20-yard line.
If I'm South Carolina, I come after the ball. I try blocking it.
Binion gets it away. Bridges with a fair catch at the 20-yard line. Bob Kessling with no flags.
Yeah, that's right. I think at halftime I have to spend a little bit of time totaling all the penalty yards. But we'll also look at other things going on, like other scores from around the country. We'll get you up to date on what's going on there. Also, we'll look at our SEC Player of the Week and the plays of the week from last week. So, again, that's all coming up in about 32 seconds now at halftime.
Bob, you know all too well of John Ward and his prowess. The press box in Knoxville is named after him. On most plays, John Ward, after them, will say, "I'm looking for a flag." And he's probably been looking and finding them.
Yes, he has.
In the last few minutes. Roy Hambrick, number 19, into the game and getting a carry here as we close out the first half. Entertaining. And Anthony Wright's done a nice job at quarterback, but blown opportunities by South Carolina in the second quarter have now seen them fall behind by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, you think of that missed field goal. That was such a huge play. Then they had that botched play when they drove from the 8-yard lines. But they have played well. They have something to go into the locker room and to take a little bit of grace and saving grace on, and that is that their defense has finally responded.
Bob Kessling is coming up at halftime. Let's go down to him now with Philip Pullman.
Big plays in the first half for your team.
Yeah, we got to get the ball back more for our offense, and then obviously I didn't like that right there at the end with the penalties and things.
It's kind of hard to get any rhythm in this game, isn't it?
Well, we got to get the ball back more often, and, you know, we're tickled to death with the 21 points, but we can still play better offensively. I know that.
Thanks, Coach. Philip Fulmer goes to the locker room. His team leading South Carolina 21-7. Halftime activities from Columbia coming up in just a moment.
Dave Rowe, Tim Brando, 21-7 Tennessee. We are about to start the third quarter. Moments ago, Brad Scott chatted with Bob Kessling.
Brad, first half, a lot of things went against your team.
Well, they did, and right here at the end, I just told our team we got the momentum back. We overcame a lot of penalties and mistakes, and the defense really got after them a little bit there at the end. You know, our kids really believe they can play with this football team, and we just got to come out here and cut out mistakes, and we can get back in this thing.
Thanks, Brad.
Did you get the feeling, listening to Brad Scott, that he had to hold a little bit back?
Yeah, I think he was holding back a little composure. But there's the man who's got to respond in this second half. Had a good first half. Not a great one, but a good one. Didn't hurt himself.
Well, that ball is tipped by Boo Williams, and now he'll have to struggle to get it to the 20. About the 17-yard line. I think Boo was actually setting up to block for Cousin, taking it on the bounce, and then happened to touch it. And then that altered the bounce, and he had to reel it in. As you look at the first half possessions, that missed field goal really hurt.
Oh, that did.
Because it came after a sack by Leonard Little that set them back. I mean, they were inside the 15-yard line.
Yeah, you've got to score. You've got to get points. Now, for South Carolina, when they come out here, what they want to do is not go 3 and out. Don't give that football back to Tennessee. They've got to think first downs, put them together, drive the football, control the clock. Tennessee, they want the ball back right away for Peyton Manning.
Trevon Matthews has come in at a tight end spot now for South Carolina. A quick opener, and it pops for Moritz again. Look at him go. You said they needed something good to happen early, and you were prophetic.
Well, that's busting through the hole. If you ever saw busting through the hole, watch this. Bam, he's into the secondary. Now he doesn't go down with an arm tackle. Right here, now he's going to get run around right here, but look at the balance that he tries to keep. And picks up an extra 10, 15 yards, dives for the yardage. This is what South Carolina had to have happen in the start of this second half.
26-yard gain. Corey Gaines tried that arm tackle that didn't work. And now here's Wright rolling out. That pass is incomplete. Pass for Robinson. And it's incomplete. Well, you said get Marcus Robinson involved, and you know, that play to Robinson was obviously a big one early, the 31-yarder. But I think Wright has been at his best when he's sprinted out.
Yes, he has. He squares up nice. He throws a nice, smart, straight, caught ball. He looks really good. He's got to look to Marcus Robinson. He's got the speed. He's a big man. He's a big target.
2nd and 10. Little shovel pass to Mixon, the fullback. That is a play we saw a lot more of when Steve Tannehill was quarterback, and he had Stanley Pritchett on this team.
Well, watch Leonard Little at the top, number 1. They run at him. See, they run the ball underneath him. A lot of times, that's the way you keep him occupied. But he's got that great speed. He responds back.
Did you see the body lean that Little put on Moritz when he made the block? I mean, granted, it worked. But I think it was Moritz that went back a few yards.
I think it was. He stuffs in the hole. Boy, I'll tell you one thing. He runs hard up there, and he's just a full-go all-the-time player.
3rd down and 2. There's that spread out look and a tuck. And a first down, South Carolina. At the 45-yard line, Tyrone Hines, the middle linebacker.
Well, he's got a lot of confidence, Anthony Wright does. This is run all the way. What he does is just takes the ball, he looks, he starts to come like a little egg. He's going to go weak side and then just finds that little seam and picks up the first down. And Philip Fulmer's got to have some concern, as does John Chavis. They're saying, hey, this is not what you want to do if you're Tennessee defense.
This is a secondary that at times will take some risks because they do play a lot of press man coverage, according to John Chavis, but they believe the down 4 can get to Wright. Up the middle, Moritz. Torrey Noel comes up along with Hines to collaborate on the stop.
Now, what Tennessee wants to do is they have got to respond on defense. They've got to come up and they say, hey, listen, we're the better football team. As you heard Brad Scott say, hey, our guys think they can play with them. Tennessee's got to come up there and say, hey, we're the better football team.
There you see where the success has been. It's been under center. They'd like to see more success out of the shotgun because it would afford Wright more time to pass out of the pocket.
Well, the difference is there, of course, you really negate the running game whenever you take that handoff from shotgun.
2nd and 8. Again, the shovel pass, this time to Bridges. What a nice play by Corey Gaines. If he doesn't make this play, then Bridges' afterburners could take him for 15, maybe 20 yards.
And he thinks he can go outside, but Gaines is not going to let him. He's number 30 on the left of your screen. Watch this. Plays it all the way. Zeroes in on him. You're right. He doesn't make the play. You don't see anybody else in your picture. Again, little toss underneath to occupy Little. Occupy the outside. Jonathan Brown, the outside ends. Good play.
3rd down and 10 with the ball at the 45-yard line. Out of the shotgun. Right. Incomplete. Zola Davis was trying to reel it in, but Al Wilson hit him just as he was trying to bring the ball into his chest to force the incompletion. So now the Gamecocks will be forced to punt, trying to pin Tennessee deep into their territory.
I'll tell you one thing, though. That was a bullet, and it was right on target. That's the difference between sometimes winning and losing, pulling that one in.
Courtney Levitt will be punting against a very brisk wind. Jermaine Copeland back deep at the 10-yard line.
Anything inside the 20 is good.
He is going to let it bounce, and that was a mistake. He let it bounce at the 15-yard line. The rule is, if you're outside the 10, take it. If you're inside the 10, let it roll. The Volunteers will have to start from their 9 when Peyton Manning comes out. We'll return after this message from Peerless Price Stadium, the site of today's Bell South SEC Game of the Week. Peyton Manning. Look at the distribution now. In defense of Peyton, there have been a couple of drops by the running backs, but it's been mostly the wide receivers, and that's been the case through the course of this season. Jay Graham gets maybe a yard in the arms of Shane Burnham. As you look at the possessions, they missed the field goal after a penalty nullified a touchdown, an illegal formation against Tennessee, but then came right back after the recovery of the Davis fumble with a touchdown, and then got 2 more quick strikes in the second quarter.
I just think Jay Graham has got to be much more of a factor in this game, especially if they want to control the clock.
Tennessee now going with a double tight end look, Moore and Sartell. 2nd and 8. Nothing doing. Caldwell, 89. One of the 17 seniors cracks through to make the stop. You know, there was a game earlier this year, Tennessee and Ole Miss. Ole Miss was very much in the game, and then suddenly Tennessee went to a twin tight end look and took it away.
Yeah, they do. They changed that offensive flow, but this is not going to change. South Carolina crushing on that ball. They really just have not used the tight ends as much as they've got such confidence in their wideouts and Kenton Nash that and the 4 wideouts that we talked about, Tim.
One thing they can do with them, though, is block. Dustin Moore is a converted defensive end. Draw play. Now South Carolina stops Tennessee shy of the first down as Graham undercut by Burnham. And the South Carolina defense does the job.
They certainly do, Tim. They respond. That's an interesting call on 3rd down because you're going to give it to Graham. You let him run 6 or 8 yards and not pick up that first down.
He doesn't look particularly healthy as he goes to the sideline. I mean, he looked heavy-legged there.
Well, he had such incredible stats last year. Looking at him, you try to find out why he's not running with the same stats.
Binion punting it away. Lee Wiggins nearly got to him. Bridges with the fair catch at the 47-yard line. Don't forget, coming up next week, our Bell South SEC Game of the Week, the #1 Florida Gators against the Vanderbilt Commodores in Nashville. 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central Time. Danny Werfel, the front runner for the Heisman in many circles. Orlando Pace getting a lot of play of late. And the Gamecocks come out donned in their entire black uniform. First time since 1988. Right. Little curl pattern that is there for Corey Bridges in Tennessee territory at the 44-yard line.
Boy, I like the composure. When you look at a quarterback, you try to look at his eyes. You try to look and see if he's excited, if he's kind of awed by the defense. But when Wright turns around and looks to the sideline, he's got a lot of those same things that Peyton Manning has. Control of his emotions. He just looks like he's maturing. Of course, Peyton Manning is the real mature quarterback. Maybe Wright's taking a few lessons.
There's Moritz. You may be wondering why Scott Moritz, who stopped by Tyrone Hines, is wearing the different headgear. That's a special teams award that they give out weekly after grading the films. And Moritz, who had been, of course, backing up Deuce Staley, not getting as much playing time. Most of his letterman's duty would be on special teams, and that's why the headgear striping that you see atop his helmet is a bit different. He has 10 carries today for 65 yards. 3rd and 1. Problems on the exchange. I think Wright got it, though, with the surge to come up with the fumble recovery. He was able to come up with a first down.
Boy, he better thank Rubick, Beckwith, Whitfield, Wheeler, Nesbitt. He better thank those guys up front, because let me tell you, they had a surge. He fumbled the snap. The ball was down on the ground. Fortunately, he just didn't fall straight down. Watch this. He may pull his hands out. Now look at that surge in the middle. All he had to do was pick up the ball and dive. You saw everybody pushing towards that center position. That was a great movement on front.
Ben Fleming is coming to the game at the wide receiver spot at the top of your screen. He and Bridges. Quick drop. Right in trouble. As he goes down, Robinson makes the catch.
How in the world did he get that ball off?
This is a great play on both ends.
It's incredible. You should see the pressure that he gets. The tail end of this is incredible. Robinson comes away with an unbelievable catch. But what pressure Anthony Wright was on. Let's take another look here. Now, watch to the left of your screen. Watch Little. They try to cut him. He gets up. He's got the quarterback. He's going down. He throws the ball. And look at this. Get those hands underneath. The one official turned to the other one. The other one had a better view, said he caught it clean.
From the 25, first down, South Carolina. Moritz. I tell you, he's been falling forward when hit. Ron Green made the stop. There's Robinson again, cradling it. That was clean.
Yeah, the official that tried to make the call was behind him and didn't see if he got his arms underneath. He looked to another official that was trailing the play. The official gave him that, yes, it was a catch. That was good officiating working together, but what a play by Anthony Wright to go down.
2nd down and 5. Now, this is a series that, quite frankly, could be the difference in the Gamecocks' confidence the rest of the way. Moritz. Boy, tackle to tackle, the Gamecocks have been pretty successful against Tennessee on the ground. You can't run wide because of the speed of Little and Al Wilson and company. Hines and Al Wilson make the tackle here.
Well, they just split them. They get a little seam, and you see the vision into the hole. Arm tackles aren't going to bring them down. That was a good burst through there to come up short of the first down, but they've got a chance at it. Now, do you go back to that same quarterback sneak that you were successful with? It looked awfully good last time.
3rd down and a yard. They set up in an eye with Mixon the up back. Mixon gets it. I tell you, Rubiak, Whitfield, Beckwith, Wheeler, Nesbitt, they're getting the job done right now in this series.
Yes, they are. This is just surge. You try to get low if you're on defense, try to make a pile, but watch the middle of this line. They all just go shoulder to shoulder. Everybody steps right down. Big man on big man and just plow for 1 yard. And what you're saying there is, hey, if we can't make 1 yard, we don't deserve to be in the football game.
1st and 10 from the Tennessee 12-yard line.
Oh, offsides. Good heads-up call there by Beckwith. The junior snaps the ball when he saw the motion into the neutral zone.
And then Wright hit a knee immediately.
Yeah.
Offside on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, what he does is he changes the snap count. See the head bop? See him pull him? That's Ratliff, number 40. Jumps in there. Look at Ratliff. He knew it as soon as he jumped in there. There's Beckwith. Heads up play.
1st and 5 from the 7. They can pick up a first down without benefit of a touchdown. Corner route. Robinson knocked away. An outstanding play late by Raymond Austin. He had a little help over there from Jason Parker, young man that's made the most of his second chance after a year-long suspension.
When Austin does the exact thing that you want him to do. As Robinson goes up for the ball high, he gets his hand in between his hands. Watch this. And rips the ball down. See, he pulls his hands apart.
He had his jersey, though. Did you see that?
Might have got a little space, man.
Austin had his jersey. Now, that's a nice play if you can get away with it.
He got away with it.
He got away with it. 2nd and 5 from the 7. Play fake. Right in trouble. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Leonard Little made the tackle.
And Tim, I'll tell you, I hate to question coaches, but they had first down and 5 on about the 11, 12-yard line. They were first down and 5 on the 7. All they got to do is make 5 yards.
Take a look at this hit from Gaines against Bridges on that crossing pattern. Hello.
But seriously, they were first down and 5 on about the 7-yard line. They only had to make the 2 and back-to-back passing plays. Now you got to throw it.
It's the 10th play of the drive. And it's been one of those nice drives, taking time off the clock. Right. Flag down. Fleming, the intended receiver. Gaines will be guilty, it appears.
No way was this ball going to be caught either. Wright was on his way down. He's just drilling it into the end zone on a hope and a prayer, and he's going to come up with a penalty.
Pass interference on the defense. Ball placed at a 2-yard line. First down.
Half the distance to the goal after the interference penalty.
Watch this. Nobody open, nobody up. Now watch from the left. Look at that. He's going down. That ball's not going to be caught. There's the interference. That's a tough catch. Now, I know you can say, well, if he hadn't been interfered, he might have been there, but that ball was a bullet.
They go with the I formation. Hambrick is coming to the game, number 19. He's in the slot to the right.
Got to run it.
In motion, Hambrick. Right. Touchdown, tight end, Travon Matthews. His first catch for a touchdown this year.
Travon Matthews, touchdown, Carolina.
Surprise, surprise. I thought for sure they had to run it. Little play action fake right there. Come up, look out in the flat. There he is all by himself. Good looking, good control, touchdown. They're back in this football game.
That's his first catch of the season. It also happens to be for a touchdown. And now it's Levitt for the extra point to try to bring the Gamecocks to within 7. Run through, and the Gamecocks with a drive that lasts 5 minutes. Exactly what Brad Scott needed. Culminates with this first right touchdown pass to Matthews. 21-14, Tennessee. But look, a 53-yard drive that lasts, and I think that's very important.
Oh, that's
the time, 5:07 off the clock. That is the first touchdown pass to a tight end since the 95 CarQuest Bowl for South Carolina. So you could say they reached deep to come up with a play to get into the end zone.
Well, they got a couple good breaks. They got that interference penalty. That helped them. But you're right. And they kept the ball away from Tennessee. That is so important.
Florio kicking it away. Short kick. And it's fumbled. Well, that's an opportunity lost. That's one they'll look back on if they happen to lose this game by 3 or by 7. Coming up with the ball, Derek Edmonds, 33 for Tennessee. Fumbled. And the Volunteers hit the ball at the 22-yard line.
Well, you talk about serious. There's the man on defense, Shane Burnham, coach's son. He's the inspirational man. He's the quarterback on defense. But let me tell you, right across the line, they got an incredible quarterback on offense. He's in complete control.
Quick hitch. Joey Kent ushered out of bounds. Let's go down to Bob Kessling. Bob?
Tim, South Carolina's got a brand new mascot. They're actually bringing a gamecock to the games. This is Spurs. Sorry, Spurs. We've also got feathers. There's another one. Eventually, want to teach them after touchdown. Stay away from me, Spurs. To fly up on the goalpost over there. Spurs is all revved up, so are the Gamecocks right now.
Spurs had better watch out. He may get turf toe.
Would you see him come back on Bob Kessling?
2nd down and 4. Graham. You mentioned it in your rewind. Get Jay Graham involved again. Darren Hambrick, the linebacker on the right side, making the stop.
Yeah, they have to get Graham involved in the football game. He's such an integral part. Takes the pressure off the quarterback. This is what he does best. A lot of people think that he's hitched a little bit. In other words, trying to make the big play a little bit too much. Needs to run a little bit freer. But boy, what a play he had in the Alabama game. He broke that thing and saved it for Tennessee.
6 defensive backs now for Wally Burnham's defense as he brings in both Ray Green and Kara Sullivan, the nickel and dime backs. Manning. Flags come down as McCullough goes down at the 43-yard line. That was pretty obvious.
He still came away with the football. Holding on the defense. Now, of course, it's the where the penalty flag was thrown, the holding call. Let's see if we maybe can hear it a little bit more.
Field position really becomes a factor here.
Yeah.
Holding on the defense. Pass across the neutral zone. 10-yard penalty. Previous block. First down.
Now let's watch right here. 88 is McCullough. You see, there's the hands. Oh, yeah, that's holding all the way. There's Lee Wiggins, number 27, the corner. He just tackled him.
He's got to learn from Raymond Austin to be more subtle when he's holding a jersey. South Carolina, 8 penalties for 68 yards. Tennessee with 7. Most of those coming in the last 2 minutes of the first half. Here comes the blitz. Manning, quick out pattern. Complete and out of bounds near the 50. Marcus Nash. Arturo Freeman taking him out.
Boy, it puts such pressure on your defense when you have to play man-to-man coverage. But the only way that you can blitz is to play man-to-man coverage. And when you have the 2 wide receivers that Tennessee has, and of course in Kent and Nash, they can break it any time.
2nd down and 4 with the ball at midfield. And these are the kinds of situations that quarterbacks like Peyton Manning thrive on. You know, you get a challenge from an underdog, and you come out and you say, all right, let's just take the game away from them right here. Audible. Reads it and sees it into the arms of 11 Joey Kent. And that's just time in the film room for Peyton Manning. You see Moritz getting a little ice pack.
It looks like it's on his jaw rather than his shoulder or his neck. Look at this. This is the audible on the line. And all he has to do is look down here to Kent. Kent's right down here at the bottom, and he knows exactly. There's so much eye contact. They almost know exactly what to expect out of each other.
7 catches for 78 yards for Joey Kent. Flares it out to the running back, Levine. He had a drop earlier, you'll recall. Shane Burnham makes the tackle, number 52. And if South Carolina's defense is going to get it done, as you mentioned at the top of this series, Shane Burnham is going to have to be the leader in getting this drive thwarted so the Gamecocks will have an opportunity to tie or get closer in this game.
Well, we talked about the 6 defensive backs. That's one way to defense him. But I think you've got to blitz Peyton Manning. I think you've got to get in his face. It's what disrupts him.
2nd and 7. Over the middle to the tight end. Seldom used Dustin Moore as a receiver. Ben Washington made the stop.
See, he just comes right off the line. Nobody's in front of him. You see right here, they're not blitzing. They're setting. They're dropping to zones. And you can see all he does is come right off the yards. Just comes off about 4 or 5 yards, turns around, bang. That's why I say if you don't pressure Peyton Manning, you've got all he's going to do is just sit there and pick you apart. You've got to take a chance.
1st and 10 with the ball at the 26. Quick pitch to Levine. As he attempts to make the cutback, Benji Young and Burnham sandwich him. at the 25-yard line.
Well, Shane Burnham, 52, slides the line. Watch this. Square, stay up. See how his shoulders stay square. Don't turn and run. Square into the pile. Boom. Deliver a hit. That's a good play by the linebacker. Slide, slide, slide. Come in the hole. Makes that play.
And Wally Burnham would tell you that Shane Burnham spends as much time studying film as he does as defensive coordinator.
Big play here for Manning. Second down, 10 yards to go, 9 yards to go.
Double tight end look again. This pass had no chance of being successful. Caldwell read it beautifully. Levine had it, but they lose yardage.
Well, that was a big play by Caldwell. He's the defensive end. He reads that little split screen out to the flat. He's right there, right in front of you. Now, get to the outside. He sees it coming out into the flat, keeps on playing wide for his containment, and just comes off and makes an outstanding play.
Well, this is one of those plays where the defensive coordinator has to come up with the right call. 3rd and 16. You know you've been most successful when bringing linebackers, but the book says don't blitz Manning, he'll burn you.
I think you've got to put pressure on him.
3rd and 16. No, they play honestly. Manning with time. It's caught, but shy of the first down. Andy McCullough at the 22-yard line. He's a yard short.
But if I'm Tennessee and I've got a Jay Graham on 4th down and 1 in this situation, I'd go for it. They may kick a field goal, but look at the time that Manning has to stand back here. Stand, 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 stand. And he finally delivers. That's not pressure. 3 wide outs at the top of your screen. He's got plenty of time for them to make a lot of cuts. Look how wide open they get. It's good coverage, but again, and I'm surprised at this, going for a field goal.
Jeff Hall, who missed one earlier, missed an extra point last week, and just missed again. Carolina's got it. Back after the 5-minute, 7-second drive for South Carolina for a touchdown, and the long drive that ends with nothing on the scoreboard for Tennessee may give a lot of momentum to South Carolina as we head for the 4th quarter. On 1st and 10, Wright's pass caught by Robinson at the 25-yard line as he goes for the big target in the arms of Torrey Noel, number 9.
Well, it's real easy to get second-guess coaches, but I just think when you get down there, you want to control. You're the winner. You go down there. You got Jay Graham back there. You got offensive linemen that are big guys. You got Peyton Manning. I just think you've got to plow that ball in there.
South Carolina, the underdog, playing their last regular season home game of this year, looking for a possible bowl bid. They're on their feet. 808, and they've been vocal of late. As we open the 4th quarter, Tim Brando along with Dave Rowe and Bob Kessling. 2nd down and 3 for South Carolina. Trailing by 7 against number 6 Tennessee. Wright is changing the play at the line. Boo Williams. That should get the tandem of tailbacks that are playing for Deuce Staley. He and Moritz over 100 yards combined. Let's go down to Bob Kessler.
Tim, one of the questions this week presented to Philip Fulmer, what about Jeff Hall? Is he healthy? Hall, of course, in preseason had back problems, wore a brace in the first couple of games, and then, of course, now the last 2 weeks has missed 4 field goals. The question, if Tennessee gets in a position again, will Jeff Hall be Tennessee's kicker?
No, you're right, and I think maybe Philip Fulmer made the decision to go for the 3 just to get his confidence back.
Well, it didn't work.
Right. The out pattern is to Bridges. Ushered out at the 37-yard line. I'll tell you this about the decision. If you're South Carolina's coaching staff, you can take that as a motivation for your team, saying they obviously don't respect us. If they had, they would have gone for it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, thinking that they're going to get the 3 later on if need be. We look at the Mazda statistics through 3 quarters. Passing yards for South Carolina, 154, but Wright has made the most of his opportunities. Peyton Manning having his usual nice day.
Yeah. Wright, 13 of 18. That last one, 14 now of 19. He's thrown the ball well. He's led his team. They're still in this football game.
2nd and 4. Tennessee staying at home that time. Leonard Little and others wrapping up Boo Williams. Al Wilson in there, the first to get to him, number 27.
Well, Tim, what happens in a game like this is if you're Tennessee and you're that much, I mean, you're a number 6 team in the nation. And a lot of people think even better than that. You don't want to let an underdog stay in the game at home because the crowd becomes such a factor. What if this game comes down to a field goal at the end? I mean, there's a lot of things. If you're the team that's favored, you're supposed to take control of the football game.
3rd and 4. Play fake. Right slipping. But boy, is he resourceful. Just look at that. First down, South Carolina. Well, he slipped, but he's slippery when it's wet.
Leonard Little may be down on this play. I saw Little on the backside. Oh, man, if they lose him. Oh, boy. Now, I can tell you right now, there's a million people in Tennessee right now. Look at Leonard Little writhe around in pain. You're right. What a play by the time by Anthony Wright to pick up that first down. A lot of concern on Philip Fulmer's face.
Rightfully so. You have to be concerned for this young man.
He's on the right of your screen. I think it may be a right knee. Number 1, watch right here. 2 people pick him up. He's back. He's out of the screen now. You really don't see him now. But look at this slipperiness of the play right here. Oh, my goodness.
Little has 6 tackles, 2.5 sacks, and that's just today. 21-14, Volunteers with the lead. Leonard Little is now on the sideline, but he could not move the knee, and we'll show you how the injury took place a few moments from now.
Oh, that hurts. That really hurts. That hurt me just watching it.
1st and 10 from the 45. That's Moritz out of the backfield. The midfield, twisting and turning into Tennessee territory at the 49. Now, Moritz getting up gingerly, but Leonard Little's injury will be a little graphic. We will tell you that before you see it. He'll roll into his own player, build up.
Yeah, you'll see Duff come back on his right knee. Watch his right leg as it gets planted here. You can see the position of the leg. It popped out quick. That's the only saving grace. If we're on natural turf, if that had been on AstroTurf, his foot would have been frozen there.
Boo Williams runs right in to number 40, Billy Rattler.
Boy, and you hate to see that. I want to tell you something. I don't care if you're a South Carolina fan or you're a Tennessee fan or a Florida fan or what you are. You hate to see great players get hurt like that. I mean, it almost just kind of puts a pit in the middle of your stomach. I mean, gosh, what a wonderful kid. I know Philip Fulmer right now is churning.
Well, we had a chance to visit with Leonard yesterday. We told you about some of that conversation. He's a quality young man from Asheville, North Carolina. 3rd and 4 for Wright. On the pump fake, all that did was give time to Al Wilson to hammer it.
Wilson just went up, kind of just shoved him. I think he thought the ball was gone at first. Watch Wilson outside, 27. Coming in there, nobody touches him. Watch this. Does he throw it? No. Boink.
Yeah, this is not a team you want to get too cute with. South Carolina can pay a heavy price if you try to get a bit cute with guys like Wilson coming from backside. 11 fumbles it. Now he's in serious trouble, but manages to get it away. Pretty good recovery. And how?
What a recovery.
This was the most celebrated high school kicker in the country last year from Germantown, Tennessee, Courtney Levitt.
Watch this. He's going to get off a 56-yard punt. Look at the pressure. Kicks it. And what a roll. This is incredible. Look at the roll. 56 yards. It's going to come dead on about the 3.5-yard line. Just an incredible play.
He's had problems with his place-kicking game this year, but the punting has been tremendous. This could be a defining moment in the game. 1st and 10 for Manning at the 4. Graham may have lost a yard.
If I'm Peyton Manning in this situation, I've got to be thinking pass. I want to pull that football down. I want to throw it out there. I want to use Nash. I want to use Kent. I want to use one of those wide receivers, do that little fake boot action. Because right now, South Carolina's stacking up in the middle of that line. He's got a lot of noise right straight behind him, not 50 feet behind him.
When they were backed up in the last series, though, Dave, they went double tight end and tried to jam Graham up the middle, and they wound up coming up short. It appears they're going double tight end again with John Sartell, 87, and Dustin Moore. That's Sartell in motion. And they're going with Graham again. Pound the football. That's a big run for Graham.
Well, that's huge. Get out there, get that, bring up that third down and about one, maybe even a first down.
Oh, he got the first down.
Graham gets up like he's the workhorse. You got to bring him down. They blitz. Right there, you get a hand on him, you got to hold on. Oh, he breaks so many tackles. He runs so hard.
Arturo Freeman finally hauled him down. Ball is at the 15-yard line after an 11-yard gain by Graham. A yard or maybe two for Jay yet again. And we bring this up because, interestingly, against Ole Miss, they took the game away by going to a double tight end look and allowing Graham to run the football. 12 rushes for 45 yards today for Jay. But earlier in the third quarter with a 4th and 1 at the 15-yard line of South Carolina, they chose to go for a field goal.
Well, it's almost like it's statement time. It's like, listen, if we're going to win this football game, we've got to be able to drive it out deep in our own territory.
Second down and 8. Play fake by Manning. Incomplete. Pass was trapped by Joey Kent.
And now comes, as they say in Tennessee, Manning time. Drop back, look for that little cross over the middle, find that dump, look for the back flaring out of the backfield. But this is when Peyton Manning's at his best.
This is the biggest play that the South Carolina defense will have all day. Wally Burnham has to make a call with 3rd and 8 and chooses to go with 6 defensive backs. Now, Tennessee, 2 out of 8 on 3rd down conversions. Crowd will tell you the story. The timeout is an emotional lift for South Carolina, as Peyton Manning saw something he did not like and takes the timeout with 9:35 remaining in the game. Burnham talks with Cousin as Peyton chats on the other side of the field. Many times crowds believe they're the reason for timeouts. You see the concern. 3rd and 8. Big play for both teams. Manning checking off of the line.
Is that a flag on the play?
Andy McCullough was the intended receiver.
I thought I saw a flag at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, holding against South Carolina. My, oh, my. That's 2 defensive holding penalties against South Carolina coming at key times in the first half and second half. Penalties have been a real problem for Brad Scott's team.
On the defense, legal forward pass, cross the neutral zone, 10-yard penalty, previous spot, first down.
Of all the penalties, that might be the worst of them for South Carolina.
Well, you just can't stay with Nash. You can't stay with Joey Kent. They're coming off the line, so what they're trying to do is, as they lose them and they're trying to play man-to-man coverage, they're putting out that arm and they're hooking them. The officials are making the calls.
Manning's pass is caught. No, they're going to say it was trapped. Incomplete. Marcus Nash and Joey Kent. That was Kent. Couldn't come up with it. Well, we mentioned Leonard Little. His injury, Bob Kessling checking on the severity of it. That's his mom that came down during the timeout to check on him, to give him a big hug and show her concern. And we wish all of the best to Leonard. It does appear to be a cruciate ligament injury. But Bob Kessling will keep us posted as soon as he finds out something a bit more specific. 2nd and 10. Peyton with plenty of time. Look at that. Marcus Nash down to the 40-yard line of South Carolina. Well, when you try to play him honestly, you're begging for trouble today. I know that that's Shane Burnham down on the ground now for South Carolina. I know that the book says you can't blitz, but certainly in today's game, the Gamecocks defensively have been much more successful when bringing at least one, maybe two, from the perimeter.
Well, you have to credit Tennessee's offensive line. They've given Peyton Manning a lot of time to stand back there. If you're not going to blitz them, you've got to be close. Now, they decide not to blitz him here. You can see he's standing back there. Look at this. Time. Wait for his receiver to get open. He sees him. He's got great vision. And these are game busters. I mean, you go back to that holding call on 3rd down. That's a huge play. Tennessee does not make mistakes. They don't fumble the football when they're tackled. They don't make mistakes to hurt themselves. Now, where they're reaching in right there, up in the neck thing, you're thinking that he's got like a burner or something up in his shoulders.
Manning is now 21 of 29 for 278 yards and a touchdown. Let's go down to Bob Kessler.
Tim, we talked with Dr. Bill Yeomans, the team orthopedic surgeon for Tennessee. He said it's a severely sprained MCL and ACL for Leonard Little. And while they will evaluate it when they get back to Knoxville, the prognosis, at least here on the sideline, doesn't look very good. Most of the players on the defensive side have already come over and talked to Leonard. Leonard was very upset after Dr. Yeomans examined him. So although they were going to examine him when he gets back to Knoxville, it does not look good for Leonard Little. And, of course, we had the pictures of his mom coming down out of the stands. And he's such a remarkable young man and such a truly great player and such a gentleman that one of those type injuries you just hate to see in this game.
No doubt. Absolutely. Ditto from us as well with respect to that. Burnham slowly getting up, and even if it's just a burner, to lose your leader while Tennessee is in the midst of a drive that could either ice the game or at least give them a 2-score edge, this is not the time you want to lose your experienced middle linebacker.
No, he's your quarterback. It's just like taking the quarterback off the offense.
He has 10 tackles today, does Shane Burnham. Don't forget, coming up next week, #1 Florida against the Vanderbilt Commodores. Danny Werfel will be on display. 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central Time.
If you're in that South Carolina huddle and you've just lost your leader, you need somebody to step up now.
6 DBs again for the Gamecocks. 1st and 10.
Looks like they're going to blitz.
Graham turns it upfield against Benzie Young at about the 35-yard line.
Well, we pointed at this drive, the start of this drive. They took the ball over on the 4-yard line, and they have driven the field. They're controlling the clock. It's almost like they're taking the emotion back out of South Carolina, and you see Shane Burnham on the sideline.
You know, they'd love to get him back in, and that he would, if at all possible, try to get back in. Graham, by the way, his number's up to 51 yards on 13 carries. 2nd down and 4. Graham stopped at the line of scrimmage.
I'll tell you, Michael Maddox has played really well in this second half. He really has responded, as has Miller. Of course, Burnham in there. When he was in there, they were doing a good job moving to the football. Big down now, 3rd down and 5. You know it's Manning time. Now again, does Wally Burnham, does he pressure him? Does he try to blitz him? Does he sit back?
David Cutcliffe all the way to the left of your screen, the offensive coordinator. Mark Love, by the way, is in the game for Burnham, 44. 3rd down, Manning's hitch is complete to Price. And the extra effort nets him a 1st down, it would appear. Terry Cousin brings him down.
Boy, he didn't have that 1st down when he caught the football. He turned around. This is quick out here. You see the blitz. They're going to put pressure on him. Again, he gets the ball. Now watch, he has to make it across the 30. He's not there. He's not there. And look at this stretch and drive for that 1st down.
You know, I don't think he got a good mark.
Oh, it looked like it was farther than that.
Yeah,
they marked the ball.
He got a very poor mark.
Well, if it's 4th down and 1, you think they're going to try a field goal? I don't think so. I think they go for it. They might not have to make that decision, though.
He still just got it, but boy, that was one of those marks. You hate to have to say it, but it was a poor one. He probably netted another half yard. An update on Shane Burnham from Bob Kessler.
Yeah, they've just taken Shane Burnham to the locker room, had a neck sprain. They're not sure if he's going to come back. They have taken him to the locker room to double check it and make sure he's okay. But Burnham is out of the lineup at a very bad time now for Carolina. They need to come up with a stop.
1st and 10 for Manning. He has Graham and Chester Ford in the backfield. Quick pitch to Jay Graham. Difficult to run wide against this South Carolina defense. Terry Cousin coming over to usher him out. Well, you can spend New Year's Day at the Outback Bowl in Tampa. Send a postcard with your name, address, and telephone number to the address on your screen and register to win a trip for 2, including game tickets, hotel, and airfare. The winner will be announced during the SEC Game of the Week on November the 30th. You have to be 21 years of age or older to enter. 2nd and 11 after a loss of a yard. The way Tennessee's special teams have been going, you'd like to think that it's 4-down territory for Manning. That pass is complete to the tight end, Dustin Moore. And he lumbers all the way down to the 12-yard line. Now, if he looks good with the football, it's for a good reason. He rushed for over 2,000 yards in high school, but at Tennessee is a converted defensive end.
Well, he comes off the line, just makes a big target. Right there. You see him right in the middle of your screen. 87 just turns around there. There he is, the big man, just lumbering.
But you notice he moved the football from one side to the other. That's the old running back in him.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Big play there.
1st and 10 at the 12.
Boy, this has been an incredible drive by Peyton Manning in Tennessee.
That pass is complete to Joey Kent at the 6-yard line. Well, stars are born and bred to make these kinds of drives in key situations when backed up. South Carolina made a couple of mistakes. Costly penalty on 3rd and 8 with a defensive holding call. That will be a lasting impression on this team if, in fact, Tennessee scores to ice this game here.
Well, they have just eaten up the clock.
Only 6:28 and counting. Numbers impeccable, but typical. Mark Levine stopped at the 5-yard line. Michael Maddox, the tackle, coming on. Well, he's played well today. 93 Michael Maddox. Along with Maynard Caldwell, the senior. They adopted the slogan at the beginning of this year, not satisfied. That was the senior slogan. They said, you know, we're not going to take what happened to us last year this year. We're going to have a quality end to our season. And even if they don't win today's game, big games with Florida and Clemson coming up, and one win in either of those 2 games would give them a bowl bid, likely the Poland Wheat Eater Independence Bowl. Play fake by Manning. No call as yet.
I don't think he saw it.
Incomplete. And Price can't believe it.
I didn't think the official saw it. The one official was behind him, and he looked at the other one for help.
I think the back judge was finally the one that had to come up to make the call.
Well, and you have to credit him on that. If he didn't see it, rather than make a bad call, he made no call. Well, watch this. Does he get his hands underneath there? Does he trap it? Now, see, the official was behind him, the one that was trying to make the call. There, it looks like he has the football. The official comes in from the right. He didn't see it, and you're right. The back judge came and made the call.
Hall has missed both times. 23-yard try. He just did get it. He just did get it. That one was kicked well, started to the right of the upright, and then drew right through. Confidence builder for the sophomore from Winchester, who did win a game last year against Georgia in Knoxville. 10-point cushion now for Kling and Dave Rhodes. Tim Brando here at the new Williams-Brice Stadium. Magnificent facility. They've spent over $30 million here to help their facilities and reconstruct a program under Brad Scott. Hall will kick it off. It is a pooch kick coming up very short and taken at the 30-yard line. Lou Williams up to about the 33. Well, this, you think about Peyton Manning, a great player, a true Heisman candidate, certain to be a #1 pick, when and if he decides to leave. if you're Anthony Wright, now you have to take the challenge as the younger of the two and make some plays.
Well, he's getting a great on-field idea of exactly how to play quarterback, because that's what Peyton Manning did on that last drive. Took the ball deep on about the 7-yard line, drove him the length of the field, came away, took back control.
Backfield now. Deuce Staley, for those of you that just joined us, out. Injured his ankle last week against Vanderbilt. Out pattern is thrown underneath Corey Bridges and incomplete. We've seen some attempts to get the ball to Marcus Robinson. One pass that could have been caught in the end zone on a fade pattern. You see the numbers, 15 of 21, but nothing big. We've seen some big plays. Probably the biggest was to Robinson, the 31-yarder that led to the first touchdown. You keep thinking Bridges or Robinson running on a post pattern.
Yeah, running on that post or that go pattern or use Bridges, use him outside, let him use that speed. He's got a strong arm, Wright does. He can throw deep.
Moritz on the draw. But a successful play for the most part today. Boy, Hines comes up. When he hits you, you feel it, even with the shoulder. The senior from Brownsville, Tennessee, along with out of Haywood County. Al Wilson, also very effective. The two of them, 27 and 47. Very active today, and with Leonard Little gone, that means more responsibility on those guys to make big plays. 3rd and 8 out of the shotgun.
Boy, if they ever needed a big play, South Carolina needs one here. You don't want to give it back to Tennessee. Not with under 5 minutes to play.
Right. Moritz falls, and that was a pressured pass by Wright as he felt the pinch coming off the corner. And Brad Scott not at all pleased with this series.
Well, I thought Wright maybe should have run with the football when he was able to step up, because what you have to do is you have to throw for the first down yardage. That was 3rd down, about 8 yards to go. He's thrown out into the flat. It's about a 4 or 5 yard pattern. Then he's going to have to run 6 or 7 yards. So I just thought he should have run with the football.
And the punt by Levitt going to Copeland. And it takes a Tennessee bounce to the 38-yard line. That's where the Volunteers take over. 1st and 10 with 4:25 remaining. Well, the record in November is impeccable for the times to remember. 40-1 since 1985. The last time they lost in November was back in '85. Notre Dame was ahead by 5 with 4 minutes left in the game, and Rocket Ismail, remember him? 45-yard touchdown. The Vols would come back, though, with a touchdown pass from Andy Kelly to Alvin Harper. Harper's 2nd touchdown pulls Tennessee to within 5. About a minute and a half left to play, but then the Vols try an onside kick. Carl Pickens recovers it. Kelly, though, would then throw an interception. Notre Dame goes on to win it 34-29. Johnny Major's team could not get it done. That pass again is complete to the tight end. Dustin Moore. Running like a fullback, huh? Touchdown, Tennessee. Game, set, and match.
A big man. He ran like he was a small man. Now you see that running ability. I see Fulmer laughing. Yeah, they placed the ball back over there. They said he stepped out of bounds.
Wow. As they say, late flag, late call.
Well, let's watch here again. It's going to be the left of your screen, out to the flat. You see him right there. He's right in front of you. Now watch this. See if he, in fact, runs out of bounds. Watch that right foot.
Right there. I think the left foot. It was the left foot.
Yeah, it was. It sure was.
Good call. Momentum, though, all with Tennessee. Jay Graham gets it down to about the 31-yard line. So it may not be game, set, and match, but certainly it's double break point.
It sure is. And, we touched earlier yours and my thoughts about Peyton Manning staying at Tennessee, and we both agree. I mean, for those reasons, I've watched so many players come out of college and try to go in the pros, and you touched on several of those reasons. I think he likes football. I think he really enjoys it there.
At the collegiate level, he likes the game.
Yeah, I read a story where his mother said he never wanted to be a pro football player. He wanted to be a college quarterback.
Quick out. That is to Andy McCullough. with a touchdown catch today. He's to the 23-yard line. And, you know, I think legacy is something that he treasures, knowing his dad's legacy at Mississippi, understanding what it meant. He can recite for you play-by-play from games played by Archie that were on radio. They still has the tape, and both of them were on the SI cover. There's the connection between the two and the respect of those that have come before him, and understanding that with Werfel gone, the opportunity to go back to the swamp, it's the only place he's lost.
Yeah.
As a starting quarterback.
Matt, to tell you, I gave him a little challenge. I told him, I said, Peyton, I want to tell you something. Your dad was a better quarterback than you. And I mean, he just stunned and turned and looked at me. And I said, I'll tell you why. I said, I remember the redhead from Drew, Mississippi. And I said, no, he had nobody around him. I mean, he had good players, don't get me wrong. But he didn't have a Nash. He didn't have a Kent. And I can still see that red-headed kid in the early 70s running left and right, scrambling all over, throwing the football. And I said, you got to go a little ways. So I'd like to see him finish out at Tennessee.
I think Peyton would tell you that he believes his dad was better, too. That's comforting to believe.
You know, the interesting thing was the thing where they went to the College Football Foundation, the induction, where Archie was inducted. Peyton went along with him. He got a little feel of what that would be like.
The ball is down to the 20-yard line. And being involved at that dinner, that black tie affair, is something special. And one must have been a senior to have the opportunity to go into the College Football Hall of Fame. Don't forget, coming up next Saturday, the #1 team in the country. Speaking of Heisman winners, certainly the front runner is Werfel. Gators' offensive machine will continue to roll as they look for an undefeated, untied season. And obviously that means looking for Jaquez, looking for Ike Hilliard, and others. Woody Woodenhoffer's defense, though, has played big against big-time opponents. The Vandy D will hope to do the best they can with Shuckman and company against the #1 Gators next Saturday, 11:30 Central, 12:30 Eastern Time. 2:15 remaining in our game. Still just a 10-point cushion for the Volunteers.
I read one article by, I was reading a lot of things this week on Peyton Manning, and he said, you know, I've done crazier things in my life than stay at Tennessee for 4 years. Yeah. I thought that was interesting, but just a quality player, and you really wish him well.
Tennessee has Memphis left on their schedule. At Memphis, another game in the state. Then they play Arkansas, Kentucky, and Vanderbilt. So there's that should add to their November record. Bob Kessling makes his home in Knoxville, knows all too well of Peyton Manning.
That's true, Tim. You know, Peyton also will graduate coming up in 3.5 years. He's taken French, 5 years of it, which helps in New Orleans. I asked him if he can sing Rocky Top in French. He says, ain't no smoggy smoke. Doesn't really translate very well into French.
3rd and 6 from the 20. Manning throwing the fade. Touchdown. Joey Kent. Boy, he put that one right where it has to be. 5th touchdown catch for Joey Kent.
Just right where it was going to, as you say, right exactly where it had to be. It was just so well thrown. What you want to do on this little fade route is throw it only so the receiver can catch it. He's looking back at the ball. He looks it in. The foot's down in bounds.
Now Hall for the extra point. Kent, by the way, 9 catches, 104 yards, and a touchdown. And Hall's extra point is good. And Tennessee extends its lead to 31-14 with 2:08 remaining.
You know, that was awfully close at the sideline there. I wanted to see that foot come down. Only one foot has to come down. That was close. Watch from the end zone here. Again, once he has the control of the ball, when he catches the football, there, catch, puts down. Whoop. All he needs one. Oh, yeah. That's perfect. Boy, I'll tell you one thing, great shots from the truck.
27 of 36, 362 now for Manning. And there that you see the career records on Joey Kent. 2,467 yards. That's amazing. 6th in yardage. Joey Kent, senior from Huntsville, Alabama, played at Johnson High School. And Peyton Manning, he might be just needing to call home now and ask Mom, who's a fashion coordinator, what he should wear for dinner tonight after he gets off the team plane.
And we have that big argument in the truck settled for one more year. Ken Dennis, South Carolina, our director, and of course Codman Hennett. I think he went to Tennessee.
Yes, indeed.
Since he wears everything in the world in orange.
Boot kick to Boo Williams down at the 27-yard line. Well, our players of the game, not surprisingly, Peyton Manning, 27 of 36, as I mentioned, 2 touchdowns you can add to that, and Anthony Wright, 15 of 22. Our Discover Card Players of the Game. As part of our Players of the Game Award Scholarship Program, Jefferson Pilot will donate $2,000 to the Southeastern Conference to be distributed among its member institutions. Wright now on the headphones as Chad Barnhart comes back in. This sophomore from Lake Wales, Florida, has played well recently. Helped South Carolina to 9 points in that victory against Arkansas. And shovel pass to Mixon. They used it once earlier today. Doesn't get much this time. Barnhart, the story on him, an 8th-round draft pick by the Red Sox as a catcher. Played in minor league ball and spent a lot of time taking bus rides this summer. Very mature quarterback. Hasn't thrown many passes, but has been very effective in leading this team when Wright has been on the sidelines. Airmailed that pass. Marcus Robinson was the intended receiver.
Yeah, way overthrew that one. Well, you know, my inside source of Tennessee football, Mrs. Ray, she's back there in downtown Knoxville. I know she's happy. She's watched every game since 1945, so she's having fun.
South Carolina's schedule very important now to the future of their postseason. They do have an open date after 8 straight weeks of playing football. Yeah, you get a little tired. A few teams have had time off by now, but the Gamecocks have not. They get Florida in a couple of weeks. Barnhart will be sacked back at the 11-yard line. Buxton, number 97, cracks through to make the tackle. But the big game that's remaining on their schedule really is not a conference game, but it's a rivalry, intra-state rivalry game against Clemson. It's very likely that these two teams, Clemson and South Carolina, could be hoping for a bowl bid on the 23rd. To the winner of that game, if South Carolina is in the 6th position and Tennessee wins out and remains in the Alliance, South Carolina would have the position of going to Shreveport for the Independence Bowl. 4th and 22 now. Copeland is back deep as Levitt prepares to punt.
When I think of all my concern, I mean, I know you're concerned too for Leonard Little. How's he going to be?
Yeah.
I mean, that sprain, I want to tell you something, that hurt just watching it. I know everyone in Tennessee is going to be watching the news and watching the papers, and it's just, it was just a devastating injury. They can't afford to lose him.
You really have to admire the focus that this team has. In many respects, Philip Fulmer's task of trying to win out after losing to Florida in consecutive years, in many respects, to my mind, is more difficult than winning a national championship. If you lose that early and then have to remain focused, win all the games that you're favored to win, and then win the bowl game as they did last year against Ohio State, that's a marvelous coaching job.
It is. It's quite a tribute to a coach that you stay. I mean, let's face it, everything from the time last year ended all the way around preseason, everything focused on that Florida-Tennessee game. And when they lost it, Philip Fulmer, he accepted a lot of the criticism because they got swamped, to say the least. But they really came back.
You see, though, it goes to the assistants. He hasn't forgotten where he's come from. For 13 years, an assistant coach at Tennessee. He lets them do the job. And you see the 2 quarterbacks, Burnham on defense and Manning exchanging handshakes, and Brad Scott doing the same for Philip Fulmer. Volunteers, number 6 with a bullet.